Let me just say that I have always been a part of this community. And there's no accident I know how to do all the dancing. Because I always be and share with you. Because you are me and I am you. And I'll be here with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and always been there for you. I don't call you all, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, and your origin is Haitian. Mine too, and many of us. We have to stay apart for now so we can be together later. In on now.
Are you all ready and willing to go?
What about, sir, you heard that there are plans next week to possibly demolish the All Saints Way Shanty town. Preparing, we saw on Theo's story, but are they making preparation to pack up and leave before next week?
So what now, since the government is start put fire on us, we stand with now, whenever we find some place to go, with now, they could put fire on us, continue to put fire. We agree with that. We could only put fire. We like this fire. Doesn't matter. We like that. Doesn't matter. We like that. We like this fire. Even they won't put fire on me, put gas on me, I don't care. I like this fire. Continue to do it. But remember, it's 5 years is not too far.
Would you say, Pastor?
5 years is not too far.
You mean for the next election? Well, you all stay right there. Pastor, you a leader, sir. You're a leader, you're a pastor.
I am.
Have you been in touch with the Haitian embassy here? Are they aware of everything and have you expressed?
If I touch with the Haitian embassy, but also we get a Haitian embassy when President Joseph was there. What now? Those who came with now, I don't know. I even don't know the name. I don't know where they came there for. Probably if you get a market, you probably say them come sell some passport or some document. I don't understand that. So as a bishop in this country, so if I represent the Haitian people, whatever the country I represent, I don't have to show my face, and then to show the people, Haitian people have people in the back. Where is it? I come to the news, but I don't come to I thought that we have any leader we represent Haitian with now, except the Bishop Sidney and we only. That's right. Whatever pastor bishop would know. So that happened. You put fire when they put fire on Kuren, Joe Biden, they put fire on me because my blood is suffer. I am suffer.
Pastor Silinaire, St. Louis.
Upper Island is finished. Nobody you can run to. Nobody you can talk to. Water, cable, illegal immigrants, underpaid. It's dark. I could go on and on and on. Enough. I don't know who's going to stand up.
We have to stand together to ask our government to please assist us in some of the questions that we need to be addressed, especially North Lutra Airport, International Airport, that we signed, like a big deal has been signed a few months ago, in which I was a major part of the ceremony in serving the guests and our home people alike, and we haven't heard nothing. We would like to know something. We're not here to fight with the government. We just want to know what's going on.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here with us as you always are. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. Um, I hope you're getting good audio. I'll just check that before I continue. You know what I'm doing as we get started. I'm sharing the live, and so Sunday with us. Okay, the audio is wonderful. Um, all right. Always glad to have you here. We will continue our live from in studio next Sunday, this coming Sunday, I should say. And so, again, it's not a town hall meeting, but the studio is there, and you are always welcome to be in studio with us. And so, again, starting on this Sunday coming, we're going to be there and we're going to be in studio. This is the last Sunday that we won't be in studio. In fact, we were not supposed to be going live for the last couple of weeks, but circumstances in the Bahamas just would not let us take a break. We were supposed to be taking a break, but we were not able to. We had to continue working. People kept calling to deal with various issues going on in the country, and we had to deal with them. So, uh, we thank you for joining us every Sunday. We're going to be talking about immigration today because I heard something extremely sickening as I was watching the news. I heard something extremely sickening that really disturbed me. I thought they were not going to do that nonsense anymore. Um, but we have to address it. So as you get on here, make sure you share the live. Make sure everyone knows what's going on. Use your ad highlights, ad followers. Also tag people right there in your chat box so everyone knows that we are here. What I'm doing is I'm sharing the live to persons within my network. And I'm going to share it so they have the link for YouTube and Facebook. So just give me a second as I do that for YouTube and Facebook. And so yes, this live is broadcasting today on all of social media. We are broadcasting everywhere, and today we're also broadcasting on TikTok. All right, so we're also live on TikTok. You can actually watch us live on YouTube, on our three pages, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok today. All right, so we're broadcast everywhere. You know, sometimes when we do this broadcast, people see that they look at my page and they say, okay, the numbers are lower than usual. That's because people are watching it all over. And so that's why you see the numbers kind of low when everywhere broadcasting from our software. And so, but you can go and wherever you like to watch this, whether that's TikTok, whether that's, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, on Coalition of Independence or on Bahamian Evolution or Lincoln Bain or on Facebook and all of those channels. All right. So people are actually on all of those channels right now watching. A lot of people from around the world actually watch this. And I got to meet a lot of people. You saw an interesting live we had this week with a gentleman who they say is the most creative man in the world. And so that was an interesting conversation. And we're looking forward to having more conversations like that with people around the world who want to see better for the Bahamas. People who might not be Bahamian, but really want to see better for this Bahamas. So, last thing I'm doing is I'm sharing this live uh, for YouTube. So, I shared it for Facebook because there are a lot of people who, no matter how much you tell them that you still have to let them know that you're on both of them. All right. So let me just take a sec to do that, and then we're gonna have a serious conversation about what's going on. Not only is the government doing this thing with social services, but also Michael Pintard said that he would do the same thing. That means that if we continue with the PLP and FNM, there is no hope. Either way, our country is going to be sold out. So we got to fight for this, ladies and gentlemen. And so again, just give me a sec as I do what I have to do and share this. And you do the same thing as I'm doing this. You do the same thing, okay? So we got to get the word out. We got to get the message out. We got to make sure everyone knows what's going on, and they won't know if we don't notify them. All right. So that's what we're doing now. So just give me a sec. Almost done. I have to take the effort to get this done, and so we'll continue there. While I'm doing this, I want to let everyone know that you know, this is the time of year where the politicians from the constituencies use our constituency money to have little giveaways and give backs. And sometimes they use persons who would have gotten contracts from the government and they tell them to give back because they got a contract to give them some money to do these little giveaways where they make us lined up, demoralize our people by making us line up for these little handouts of books and backpacks, etc. And so go get the stuff because it's yours. That's not a gift from the government. That's your money that paid for that. Uh, the government did not do any did not do anything for you. That's your money. All right. So just always continue to understand that that's your money. The MPE ain't nice because they gave you your money. That's your money. So if you want it, go get it. But we always try to do things a little bit differently. So what I'm doing this year is, again, as I did last year, since books and that kind of stuff is going to be given out constantly, since books and stuff is going to be given out, backpacks, etc. There's no need for that. So what I'm doing and what we are going to do is we are going to do what we did last year and give the haircuts. And so we tried to do it in Pinewood this time, but I guess it was so overwhelming last time with so much people that came in. The barber said that they are unable to take on more persons this time on their back to school weekend. And so we found a barber that's able to. And so it's going to take place. We're going to have two locations this time, but this time is going to be in the Freetown constituency. All right. So that's the Saturday before schools open. So I think that's Saturday the 30th. Let me make sure. So Saturday the 30th. So it doesn't matter where you live. You can send your kids down to get their haircuts. And that's going to be in Freetown. All right. There's a barber shop called GQ. It's on the corner of Shirley Street and Camp Road. There's a green building. There's a photography store in there also, but there's a green building right there. There's a barber shop in there downstairs. And so you're able to come right there. There's another location. I'm going to announce it this week also, but you can come on down there on that Saturday morning of the 30th, and you're going to be able to get your back to school haircuts. All right. And so we just want to make sure that at least that part is covered for you because we give the politicians all this money every single, I think every quarter they collect that money, and so that is used to do this stuff. But the difference is we are doing this from our pockets and from the goodness of our heart. All right. So this ain't the government money. This ain't your money. This is us doing this from the goodness of our hearts. All right. And so the politicians are using your money to make you think they're nice, but we're going to give back by making sure that persons at least get their haircuts. I'm almost finished with this sharing. That's how much sharing I have to do to get this done. All right, almost there. So I'm just sharing the YouTube link because some people don't know that we are broadcast on YouTube also. So you want to make sure that they know, even though we're also on LinkedIn and all these other places on my page, we just want to make sure that they have the opportunity to watch this wherever they want to watch it. And so if someone interferes with Facebook, they can go to another page, and they can also have access to it there. All right. So I'm sharing the last one. Boom. All right. We're fully shared and we appreciate your patience. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the numbers are getting up. You can see the numbers getting up. All right. Let me see. All right. Over our system wide, we got 1,500 people watching live right now. Good. Let's get started. All right. Oh, yeah, those numbers are going up. All right. Perfect. So by the end of this, we should have lots of people. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw something that really disturbed me, and we told the Bahamian people that this was happening. You remember some months ago we went to Abaco. We traveled to Abaco, and there was a shanty town there. Remember this carefully, and if you don't believe, you can go on my Facebook page. Just scroll and you will see it. The live. Even though a lot of my lives are being erased now, if you go on my page, you'll see some of my lives that you watch are disappearing. Someone is moving it, I guess. But ladies and gentlemen, we went to Abaco some months ago. And while in Abaco, we went to the shanty town, a new shanty town, another shanty town that was built up, I'll say, being built up a lot. That they went to the shanty town, so called, and they destroyed the house of a Bahamian man. They broke down his house with, I think, 5 children or something like that. Go and get the real story from on my Facebook page. But right next to him was a Haitian man and his family. He even had a shop in the front of his house, attached to his house. And they had it marked to be demolished, but they never demolished it. And so we were very curious as to why did you break down the Bahamian's house? And now the Bahamian had to go live with people. And one of the children we saw walking while we were there, and they said all of them are separated, now living separately with different people. And that was shocking and disturbing to me. Because right next to him were non-Bahamians, were Haitians, illegal immigrants on top of it. No work permit in this case. And they didn't touch their house. And so we walked around the street. All of this was documented. And we started to see other houses there. They're building them nicely now. And as we talked to some of them, they started to tell us because we saw their house was marked for demolition. And I said, "Why did they mark your house, but they didn't come and break it down?" He said, "No, they didn't come." I said, "Well, what did they say?" They said, "Well, they told us to go to social services, and then social services will find us a house or apartment, and then if they find the house or apartment, then they'll come and break down this house." But they didn't find another house because this is Abaco. They didn't find an apartment for us, so they didn't break it down. Like they were gonna find an apartment for you, our social services. They were like, "Yeah, that's what they told us." They met with us, and that's what they told us. Go to social services, and they'll get us straight. We played that live. Tens of thousands of you watched that. And some people didn't believe. They believed maybe the Haitian had some reason to lie. We were angered by that. The news never covered that. Notice Pintard or one of them will just say something, anything. He'll say, "I fed the dog today." That'll make headlines in the papers because they're trying to promote them. But real issues like this that would make the papers in any other country, make the news in any other country, not a word. They don't investigate, they don't check, they don't care. They just keep it on the down low. But we talked to many of those houses and everyone confirmed the same thing. And as we came back to Nassau, we investigated, we were told the same thing is happening in Nassau. That they are finding apartments and houses for them. And then as they find apartments and houses, then they would come and break down whatever houses they find apartments for. And that's why you were seeing in Nassau, they'll break down some houses in the shanty town and leave others. And then they'll put in blasts in the papers, especially the Guardian. They'll blast in the papers saying shanty town demolished. No, you didn't demolish the shanty town. You demolished some houses in the shanty town. But the rest is still there. We also did lives to show you that. At All Saints Way, they broke down the houses in the front of the road as they found places for them to go. And then, but the ones right there in the back of the road, in the back, It's right there. We showed you that, where the whole the coal mine is. And we saw this trend. And that's a disturbing trend. The reason this is disturbing isn't just because they find in houses for the immigrants, which should never happen in any country. The government was voted out in the United States of America because that was going on. And we're going through the same thing in the Bahamas right now. What hurts me is that I get up to 100 calls and texts every single day from people who hurting, people who don't have nowhere to live, people who don't have nothing to eat, people who don't know where they're gonna go, Bahamians living in cars, living in abandoned buildings, living on a beach, single mothers with their children parking in the police station yard for safety and sleeping there. On Montague Beach, sleeping there. In Freeport, the same thing. The same thing. And they could take our money, our government hard-earned tax-paying money, to take care of migrants before they take care of Bahamians. Now, before I show you what's the real deal, I gotta respond to the government. Because the government, in another dastardly deed, decided to respond to the fact that I was going live. These sick, demented people running our government decided to respond with absolute lies. And not only did their lying response, not only was the response a lie, but the media actually grabbed it and shared it. The media, Eyewitness News, grabbed this fake news by the government and shared it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read to you this nonsense put out by the government. All right? I won't read what Eyewitness News had to say about it. They called it fact check or something like that. Fact check? Did y'all fact check before y'all did that? I'm embarrassed at Eyewitness News. They called it fact check. And so let me read what the government said. I'll ignore Eyewitness News because the media in our country just does what they're told. They're controlled and they just say whatever they're told. And so if anyone believes the media when it comes to any political issues today, you're the reason why this country is suffering. If the media is reporting on a murder happened or they're reporting that a hurricane is coming to take shelter, that's fine. But anything involving a political figure or anything to do with politics, don't believe nothing they say. They are just going to report what they are told. That's our country. So this is the nonsense that they put out there. And then I'll prove them wrong. Because one thing everyone has learned about me in the last over 2 decades that I have been nailing them to the cross is that I don't say nothing I can't prove. And if I say something, that's the reality. So let's read their little nonsense. It says, public notice, false information alert, rapid response unit. What is this? This is a statement that they put out there, not signed by any government official. Anytime they want to put lies out there on me or have a press statement referencing me, they never sign it. All right? That's what they do. So the first thing is, if you see something out there, a press statement from the government is not signed, ignore it. it's actual lies, and they're not signing it because they can't put their name to it because they know that it is false and it is a deception. And they don't want you to have evidence of what to hold against them. Because a government that's actually intentionally deceiving their people is actually wrong. It's unlawful. So it says the statement circulating on social media suggesting that migrants are being given priority over Bahamians in receiving social assistance is false. That's how they started their statement. Migrants receiving assistance over Bahamians. So you see, what they always do is they find something to say that is not really what the issue was about. All right. So that's really not what the point is. The statement that I made, if they're referring to me, obviously they're referring to me. They called my name in the statement. I don't know why. It said this is my statement. Social Services says Bahamian taxpayer dollars will go to paying rent and giving other aid to naturalized Bahamian citizens and permanent residents, meaning immigrants, because if you're a permanent resident, you're an immigrant. All right? Obviously. In shanty towns. That's what I said. I said they say it would also go to other immigrants, including illegal immigrants in shanty towns. All right? Pintard said the F&M will do the same. I also said that. And then I went on to say leading this country. Nowhere here did I said prioritize over. I said you're giving it to them. The point isn't whether you're prioritizing it over them or not. The point is you are giving our resources to other people. But what they did is raise another issue by saying, oh, the person is saying prioritizing over Bahamians. No. That isn't the issue here. The issue is you giving it to immigrants while Bahamians are suffering. And so it's not about the prioritizing. So y'all try to switch the issue there. But let's continue with their statement. So they made it about prioritizing. No. My statement is not a dollar of our taxpayer money should go to anyone who is not a taxpayer or their children. Since y'all don't seem to be able to have good understanding. Not $1. I hope I said that simply enough for these people who don't seem to understand that this is our country. Okay, someone asked me to block some march up there. Okay, they're blocked. All right, so let's go. They said, here are the facts. This is their facts. The Bahamas follows all international laws. International laws. Okay. Housing assistance is only provided to Bahamian. Bahamas follows all international laws. That is not true. But I'll leave that for now. All right. Now, y'all just stick that international law. So they're trying to deceive you as if what they're doing has something to do with international law. But we will fix that today. Housing assistance is only provided to Bahamian citizens who meet the criteria under the means test, whether temporary or ongoing. So y'all stick a pin in that too. They said housing assistance is only provided to Bahamian citizens who meet the criteria. So only Bahamian citizens. I can prove that a lie also. Remember this, the government statement. Only Bahamian citizens. All right? Now, of course, they're trying to deceive you because what happens is they're selling passports like candy. So yeah, they could say Bahamian citizens, but they're selling passports like candy. So owning a Bahamian passport doesn't mean what it used to mean. So they're ignoring that fact that we understand that Bahamian passports are now being received fraudulently. But notice they said only Bahamian citizens, not permanent residents. That's their statement. In fact, let me pull this up here. I want you all see this. You know, I like to show the evidence. All right. I want you all see this while I am talking. All right. They say only Bahamian citizens. All right. Just give me a sec. Let me pull that up good for you. So I want you all to see the lies. I want you to see this and picture this. So when you see this, I want you to see the lies. One sec, just coming up now. Let me open it up. I want you all to see this yourself, and then I can disprove them. All right? Just give me a sec. I can show you all who these lying demons are. Let's pull up this statement. I know a lot of you have seen it, but some of you might not have seen it. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay, so I'm in full screen for you now. All right? So make that big so you can see that good. So they said housing assistance is only provided to Bahamian citizens, not residents, not people with permits, work permits, etc., not permanent residents, not work permits, etc., and not people with some other legal status. All right, which could be a spousal permit, etc., etc. All right. Notice this their statement. Only Bahamian citizens. I'm repeating that because I want you to remember that. Next, they said this is the first administration to take decisive and sustained action to demolish all shanty towns across the Bahamas, and the process is ongoing. No, they're not. All right? But again, I'll leave that there. And they're demolishing houses after they've found alternative housing for each of those persons. All right? And notice Louis George ain't complaining. Weren't they complaining before when there was an attempt to break down shanty towns? Weren't they complaining before? We have Fred Smith. He ain't saying nothing. That's because the deal has been made. We are going to house these people. That's why. Bahamas. That's why Fred them ain't saying nothing. Next, migrants in the country illegally who are found in these communities are arrested, charged, and deported in accordance with the law. That is a lie. We'll get to that later. Because as you can see, you saw social services touring that place, not immigration. All right? So we don't believe you. And we don't see these repatriation flights. We saw one a couple of weeks ago after we raised hell, and all of a sudden y'all found 66 persons y'all could deport all of a sudden, but y'all didn't deport no one since last year. Yes, we speak to the people at the airlines who've informed us that y'all didn't deport no one. And when y'all do it, it's like 12 people here, 18 people there. So nothing to get to this 13,000 figure y'all been lying about. It says, next, 5 persons on work permits found living in unregulated communities trigger action against their employers who are legally responsible for providing proper housing. How come we ain't see not one person charged before the courts for that? Not one. Not one. If y'all had done that, that'd have been all over the news. You never did that. It's a lie. We no fools. All right? Many Bahamians, this next one. 6. Many Bahamians also live in unregulated communities, and demolition efforts address all unsafe and unlawful settlements. Bahamians. When they say Bahamians, they're not talking about you and me, who ma and pa is Bahamian, grandma and grandpa is Bahamian. They're talking about people they gave passports to. That's what they call an immigrant. They will look at the circumstance and then say, man, we won't find a house for y'all, but we need someone in this house to be Bahamian. Any of the children get their passport yet? Oh, the child get his passport? Okay, good. So we get a house for that young person, and then all of go live in the house, in the apartment. But we could be able to say that we gave it to that 20-something-year-old young Bahamian who now has their passport. So mummy who came here illegally, you just go in the house with the one who got the passport. And that's how they are doing the workaround to be able to pay for these people. I'm just being honest. I'm not hating on anyone. I have no problem with anyone from any other country. But our country is in crisis and Bahamians are hurting. And someone got to speak. 7. Immigrants in the country illegally may receive basic temporary emergency assistance, food, and medical care. That's everything. What y'all don't get. Medical care. Jesus. Only in extreme cases, such as natural disasters or man-made. This is short-term until immigration addresses their case. So they're telling you, persons here in the country illegally, and they said, may receive temporary emergency assistance, food, and medical care. Only in extreme cases. Who determines what's extreme? Do you know what they call extreme to justify what they're doing? Their house got broken down. That's what they're saying is extreme. They're not talking about natural disasters because in this case, there's no natural disaster. But if you're out of housing, they determine, because there's no law relative to this. There's no written law to deal with this. And so they just determine on a case-by-case basis, oh, you're out of housing? You don't have it? Okay, we're going to put you up in an apartment and we can pay for it. But let me tell you what's really happening. Foreigners are buying up properties like crazy in areas like Angliston, in Pintard, etc. They're buying up properties and houses cash. And they are receiving the rent. Foreigners or persons who are now getting their passports, buying passports, etc. They are buying up houses. They're building a big structure right now on Mini Street. Right on the corner by Mini Street and Collins Avenue, you'll see one house right there building. A Bahamian lives right next to it. Before I born, there was a power line running from the road to that Bahamian's house. The Haitian bigotry went there. They see 2 women living there. They cut down the power line. Cut it down. And said that running across our yard. Now the law says you must give people easement. But the Haitian cut down the power line and said that running across his yard. He just buy that. And he building a 2-story big complex to rent to only Haitians. Go there and look. In fact, I could pull it up on think when we finish. I could pull it up on the map so you could see it. They are buying this up. So now government money is now being funneled to these people with these apartments. It's not illegal, but I'm showing you what's going on. So these people now have money because they're running guns, they're running drugs, they're people smuggling, they're buying up houses like crazy. And now they're buying up houses in the ghettos and renting to their people, and government is giving assistance. Remember, they are saying Bahamians, but they don't mean Bahamians. They mean naturalized Bahamians, but they're not differentiating so that you understand what's going on. You see? They're saying Bahamians to deceive you. All right? Now they throw this number 7 in here just to make you understand. Okay, in case you find out this little illegal person get it, they can say, yeah, we give it to illegals in emergency situation. But what's an emergency situation? Where is that defined in our laws? You're just keeping it hush-hush. Next, it says permanent residents are only given temporary housing in the event of a man-made or natural disaster. For example, during Hurricane Dorian, some permanent residents were provided with temporary shelter. So now they're saying only during emergency natural disaster, permanent residents can get it. I want you to remember that. Remember first they said only Bahamian citizens. Then they say when illegal immigrants get, but they say permanent residents only in a natural disaster. Immigrants only in natural disaster. Permanent residents, they say no. You hear them, right? You hear them. Now I can show you the lies. It says we invite Bahamians to consider what type of temporary assistance they would receive in other countries if there were a man-made or natural disaster. So in other words, if you was in another country and there's a natural disaster, what kind of assistance would you receive? Now, we should receive assistance from our government to send for us, to come and get us. But we ain't talking about no natural disaster, so stop trying to throw other situations in here. There's no natural disaster. This is a demolition. Why are you bringing up something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about? That's how they deceive you, Bahamas. This has nothing to do with natural disasters. We are talking about demolition of a shanty town, where illegal immigrants are housed, where illegal guns and drugs are kept, because no police going in there to search these houses. Obviously not because they billing up like crazy, and you don't see them till it's too late. So don't let them distract you with the natural disaster talk, because that is not a part of this conversation. It says, these basic measures are standard practice under international law. This includes Mr. Bain, who we believe travels. Now, why would an official statement from the government decide to mention little old me? They're always afraid to call my name on the news when they're talking. They're afraid to call my name. My name is a forbidden name. Let's continue. Number 10. Lincoln Bain has a history of spreading false and misleading information to create fear and anger amongst Bahamians, especially over immigration, for his political gain and attention. We can conclude that he has a very dangerous, strange, and complicated relationship with the truth. So says the people lying to us in this very statement. Not once. As much as I am before the public speaking, not a week has passed in multiple years where I've not been before the public speaking. At some point, you would expect that I would make some mistake, misspeak, etc., etc. News stations have had to apologize for things they've said. Clip Watson has had to apologize. Papers have been sued. Everyone makes misstatements. Some people get wrong information. Not once has that happened with me in over 20 years. Have you seen one instance where they could have proven that anything that I have said has not been true? But of course, I'll let that go because at some point I may say may misspeak, I may say something, I may get some false information that I thought was verified, etc., etc. But so far, that hasn't happened. Not once. I've called all of their names. Not once have they sued me for defamation or libel. In fact, during COVID, the law in place was you couldn't give false information. You couldn't give false information on social media. They put that law in place. Minister did. And I was going live almost every day, giving the facts, giving the information. Did you see them lock me up? Did you see any of them sue me? I've called all of their names. Everyone who's out there speaking publicly have been arrested for libel or sued. I try my best to make sure that I check things out properly before I touch it. So these people are lying to you and calling me, the person who's a stranger, the truth. Well, let me give you the facts, not from these politicians, but from the civil servants doing the work. Let me give you the facts. So you see all their lies. Let's go to the facts. Let's go straight to the civil servants. All right? And what they had to say. Well, first, before we go there, let me make this clear. There is no international law that says that a government has to provide housing for illegal immigrants who were evicted from shanty towns. There is no international law anywhere in the world So I challenge the government to show me any international law that says that if you are evicting illegal immigrants from a shanty town, that you have to provide housing for them, that you have to pay their rent, and what you all said, food and medical care. Tell the government to show you any law in the world. It does not exist. It's a lie. They try to make you feel like, oh, there's some UN boogeyman out there. They never show you the law. They'll just say these nonsense. And the UN boogeyman forces us to have to do this. So they start to throw in there stuff like international law, but they don't tell you what international law. They just do that to deceive you. No international law, no treaty we signed forces us to have to provide housing for any illegal immigrants whose houses that we've broken down, or any immigrants. I have a whole bunch of case law I could show you. If I get time in the end, I could show you that. There is no international law. I prepared a whole thing to read to you, but I'm going to skip forward because I took so long reading that nonsense. And so that's the first thing. All right. Not only that, to show you there's no international law doing that, in Spain, they had evictions. In Spain, where they were not forced to provide alternative housing. The people who come and pick the fruits in Spain, that's a big market with a lot of persons. Let me show you that. Pay attention.
More than 500 day laborers have been evicted from the largest settlement of seasonal migrant workers in southern Spain without housing alternatives for them. Our Terra Sur correspondent.
The day laborers of the so-called European orchard sleep under the plastic covers of the El Walili settlement, which has been dismantled after 15 years. Abdullah, one of the more than 500 day laborers forcibly evicted, slept here.
We have been here for 2 years, here in Walili, but now they are telling us to go away, that we all have to go abroad. I don't know where I will live.
I'll stop it short. As you can see, they said they remove them without any alternative. That's Spain, that's Europe. Let's come to America. All right? They remove them. I cut that short. All right. I'll go to America, where in New York under Biden, persons were being evicted. out
Following the
of government
storm
houses.
battered New York City, bringing record rainfall at JFK International Airport yesterday. The most ever seen for any September date. The sea lions at the Central Park Zoo escaping from their flooded enclosure. And as the rain hit the Big Apple, migrants kicked out of the shelters and onto the streets. As Mayor Adams says, the city is running out of space, with more buses arriving every single day. The city evicting migrants from the shelters even during yesterday's storm. News Nation correspondent Dre Clark is in New York for us tonight. Dre, what is happening to those migrants?
Well, Natasha, good evening to you. Behind me here is the Roosevelt Hotel here in Midtown Manhattan, and many people consider this to be the epicenter for all of the newly arriving migrants and asylum seekers here in New York City. But this is also where those migrants who were reportedly forced out of their shelters yesterday and into that record downpour were told to go as a shelter of last resort.
It's like walking through a river in your own home.
In New York City, it looked like a river running wild. A torrential downpour producing as much as 8 inches of rain in some places and causing flooding that nearly brought the city to a standstill. The heavy rain pounding tents set up for thousands of migrants.
I cut that one short also. But ladies and gentlemen, they said, okay, in emergency situations, that was an emergency situation. There's no UN going after, and that was a year ago under Biden, where they were providing housing under the strange law that they had. But even then, under emergency situation, persons were put out. All right? So let's not be deceived by this wicked government. They're making money off of this. All right? They're going to break down those houses. They're buying up all this housing in the ghetto. And they're renting. In fact, if you go all over Nassau right now, in Pinewood, in San Souci, in Seabreeze, everywhere you go, you will see houses full of them. And someone collecting this money. So I just wanted to show you that this international law foolishness they talking. Yes, you have to take care of people in a natural disaster. That's obvious. There's no one arguing that. But to make it seem in this conversation we're having about social service giving money to immigrants because they're being evicted from a shanty town, there's no international law that addresses that. Yes, Lincoln Bain travels. Whoever wrote that. All right. Now let's go to hear what social services had to say about all of this. They've seen the lying politicians. This is social services and what they had to say. Y'all pay close attention. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to go through this. All right? Actually, what I'm playing for you now, make sure I have both of them. What I'm playing for you now is 1 year ago. And so we edited this clip so you could see the pertinent parts of what was said. All right? This is 1 year ago. Exactly a year ago. Under this administration, when they broke down the Cool Acres shanty town, and then they were talking about how they visited the other one, the other shanty town, right? Listen carefully to who they say received this. Remember, the government says only Bahamian citizens. Now, I want you to hear if they said that anyone else could get this. Listen to them.
Well, temporary housing at an undisclosed location being provided for Bahamian residents, or at the very least those who can show proof after their shantytown homes were demolished this week. John Public, however, has an entirely different view, a few of whom Don Davis.
A system is kind of burdensome for the Bahamian people at large.
I think the government should not assist them because they had time already to prepare for what's coming. Even in America, like with me in America, you gotta abide by America laws. I feel like they come and they just be outlaws. She can go where she belong. You understand? Because they come here and they know their kids aren't from here and they purposely have kids. And it's hard for us who have kids and we're trying to get the land to get land in our own country.
But contrary to what Bahamians may say, many of those residents left displaced are permanent residents and employed.
We've made arrangements for placement. Those would be persons who are, of course, Bahamian citizens or persons who are permit holders who have status. And
permit holders and persons who have status here.
Those persons who may require assistance, maybe with rent assistance.
Gonna get rent assistance.
Provide that also in the amount of $1,200.
$1,200 per month.
And we would have interviewed a number of 18 families, which will be comprised of about 57 adults and 20 children.
$1,200 per month. Ladies and gentlemen, the government said only Bahamian citizens. They said it includes persons with permits and persons who have status. Now, one of those women in the original thing said that they don't give it to people with who just have work permits, but the other one came and basically said that no, that ain't true. The other one came in the same thing and said, no, we give it to persons with permits. You heard us say it here. And also persons who have status. So that could be a spousal permit, not just work permit, or anyone who has status. Let's play that again so that every Bahamian can hear. This ain't the recent one, this last year. This is how long they've been doing this. All right? So while Bahamians go in there and can't get assistance, watch this again.
Well, temporary housing at an undisclosed location being provided for Bahamian residents, or at the very least those who can show proof of residency here in the Bahamas after their shanty town homes were demolished this week. John Public, however, has an entirely different view, a few of whom shared their opinions with our LaDon Davis.
A system is kind of burdensome for...
This is a year ago.
People at large.
I think the government should not assist them because they had time already to prepare for what's coming. Even in America, like with me in America, you gotta abide by America laws. I feel like they come and they just be outlaws. She can go where she belong. You understand? Because they come here and they know their kids aren't from here and they purposely have kids. And it's hard for us who have kids and we're trying to get the land to get land in our own country.
But contrary to what Bahamians may think, according to the Department of Social Services, many of those residents left displaced are permanent residents and employed.
We've made arrangements for placement for persons who need the placement. Those would be persons who are, of course, Bahamian citizens or persons who are
permit holders. You heard her say it yourself. Did she not say permit holders, Bahamas? Did she not say permit holders? Let's rewind.
We've made arrangements for placement for persons who need the placement. Those would be persons who are, of course, Bahamian citizens or persons who are permit holders who have status here in the country.
Persons with status.
And that is what we are prepared to do from this moment forward. And those persons who may require assistance, maybe with rent assistance.
Rent assistance.
We do provide that also in the amount of $1,200. Another team would have gone into All Saints Way last week, and we would have interviewed a number of 18 families, which will be comprised of about 57 adults.
That's not my words. That's their words. Now, if they mix up and scramble up, if they lying, You go deal with them. Jesus. That's a year ago. All right? Now, here is them today. Same nonsense.
Well, our mission here today was to go throughout the unregulated communities along with the team of social workers to see who are in the communities who the department, bearing in mind the assistance provided by the Department of Social Services is for persons who are Bahamian citizens or with permanent residence. Anybody else, if there's an emergency situation, then we can assist them. But at this time, because the houses are marked to come down, we can offer them some assistance in relocating in the form of rent assistance. And so our mission here today was to go through the communities to determine who are those persons who we can assist.
Someone explain to me, Bahamians have to go and line up. Now, she said Bahamian citizens and permanent residents. All right. Now, I want you to see the lies of the government. She said Bahamian citizens, permanent residents, and anybody else it's emergency situation. Someone mix up. See, when you lie, you got to remember your lies. I'm not saying she lied. I'm talking about the government and their paper. All right. So she said Bahamian citizens, permanent residents. But in the government statement that you saw a minute ago, they said only Bahamian citizens, permanent residents can only get it in terms of emergency situation. That's what the government wrote. All right? You see how much mix-up stories and lies? That's because there is no law relating to this. Not international law, not Bahamian law. They do what they want. They make whatever decision they want. And when they get find out, they come trying to cover up. Like, we made a surplus in April, and then we never made a surplus in April. Like, the Prime Minister stood up and said, we'll not allow them to raise BEC bills. That will not happen on his watch. That is not going to happen. Don't listen to these people, these lying people. And then he comes back, not even a month later, with a big statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, we are raising BEC bill, BPL bill, you know what I mean? We are not going to address marital rape laws. Then they come back, we're going to address marital rape laws. These people are lying and deceiving you at every turn, but you still don't care about your country. Miles Zaroda, not one Bahamian in Pinewood Gardens should be hurting. You are the member of parliament and you are in charge of social services and the millions of dollars they have access to. And people in Pinewood hurting. Miles Zaroda, fix that and fix that now. The people of Pinewoods are victims of the FNM and PLP who own Arawak homes, who built those shoddy houses and everyone had to change their roof. Built that in a situation where they knew there was going to be flooding and didn't care. Now the people there are suffering. Many of them because they had to change their roofs. That's the most expensive part of your house. Many of them couldn't catch themselves, couldn't catch up. People of Pinewood, Miles Zaroda is the Minister of Social Services. Don't forget that. And you're all suffering. So, again, there's no international law that addresses giving, paying rent, and what you saw in their statement, medical, and food for immigrants. Brave them just doing that on their own. That's what they doing. No one is forcing them to do it. There is no international law that forces them to do it. Now, that takes us to the other side of the same coin. Michael Pintard. Michael Pintard said he would do the same. Now, of course, he always has word salads. All right? Sometimes I feel like I'm running against both Biden and Kamala Harris. Trump only had to deal with one at a time. But I feel like I'm running against both at the same time. Because Brave sometimes reminds me of Biden. You forget stuff, and then, it's a nice, nice old man. But, sometimes you wonder. And then you have Pintard, who reminds me of Kamala. Everything is fake and staged. And remember that? Everything was fake and staged, and everything was about twerking. And usually we got the DJs. We're bringing all the DJs to this event, and everyone just twerk, everyone dance. Now, when we have this candidates release, we want everyone hyped. This them talking to the crowd. We want everyone hyped up. All right? We want to sound excited. We want to make it look excited. The shots, the camera shots, make sure they close shots so you can't tell how much people really here. Always do close, tight shots so it look like a crowd. And everything is about hype and made up stuff. And then remember, Kamala started, at one point, she realized that she wasn't getting any traction. So she started just copying everything that Trump was saying. She just started copying Trump. Well, that's Pintard. Pintard is just copying me. Everything he hears me say, he's starting to say. He's addressing illegal immigration now. Trying to impress the U.S. because they said that it's important to them. They literally had a meeting with their advisors that they're paying, and they literally told them that Lincoln is resonating with the people. All you got to do to resonate is just repeat everything he is saying and do everything he is doing. He goes live, you start to go live. If he said change income and changes here, you say change income and changes here. Immigration is a big thing to everyone, you start talking about immigration. But we get to the bottom of that. Because Pintard is not the man to deal with immigration. Notice I'm not going to waste time to play the video. He made a statement that, He made a statement that if the F&M gets in, they are going to have a referendum. They're going to have a referendum on, let me play it for you.
If the Free National Movement wins the 2026 general election, it is prepared to hold a referendum on citizenship, according to party leader Michael, in a recent appearance on Guardian Radio's Morning Bun with host Dwight Strawn, where he was asked about Article 7 of the Bahamas Constitution. Article 7 relates to children born in the Bahamas to non-Bahamian parents, granting them the right to apply for citizenship at age 18.
Bahamian governments appear to be afraid of referendum. Would you be afraid? I would not be afraid to hold a referendum. But I'm saying something. I'm saying something different. I'm saying something differently. I'm saying that we need to send a message to the international community that persons who are coming to the Bahamas, all right, there is no pathway for you for citizenship. The policies that I would implement, whatever is required, if the referendum is the only pathway to address that particular issue, the policies I would put in place would hinder that ship ever making it to shore.
When pressed on whether an F&M-led government would commit to holding a referendum on this sensitive and long-standing issue, Pintard reaffirmed his position, stating he's prepared to move forward with one.
If it is unclear that we are prepared to stand firm to prevent that from happening, I believe the floodgates remain open. But there are some things we should do. So you would have a referendum? I would be, if that is...
I don't want to play that whole thing. He's basically saying that there's no pathway for the immigrants for citizenship. That doesn't address the problem. So in other words, if you come here illegally, you can stay, you can work. We're not going to arrest you. We're not going to do what we're supposed to do, but you just can't get citizenship. There's no pathway to citizenship. That's what he's saying. You see how they play with words and start to talk about things that are not the issue? He says there's no pathway to citizenship. Well, there's not going to be pathway to citizenship for anyone who wasn't born Bahamian when the COI gets in. Moving forward from when we get in, there will be no more naturalizations. As simple as that. You can get permanent residency if you've been living in the country so long and contributing to this country, but you will never be in a position where you can vote in this country to determine our elections, because your mouth started to get hard and you started to say, well, we ain't gonna vote. You see what the pastor said? Election in 5 years. That's what that's what the Haitian pastor said. They touching you where it hurts the control. Well, we can fix that. Pintard ain't gonna fix that. And I can show you why he ain't gonna fix it. I ain't finished yet. We ain't touch on the real issue here. All right? But he is skirting around the issue. He never had an interest in immigration. While we were over there flying to the different islands and showing you what's going on while the government was denying it, Pintard never breathed a word. While we was exposing Keith Bell, he joined and started talking with Keith Bell, but he never talked about the immigration crisis. Now election coming and they said that's a critical issue for Bahamians. And so now he trying to jump and start to do these word salads like Kamala Harris, Pintard, Lil Lincoln, Kamala, whatever you want to call him. And so what do you need a referendum for if we already have a law? In other words, what Pintard is saying that he wants the opportunity to get rid of that law, to make it so that the persons could just come here illegally and then they straight from day one. Y'all better listen carefully, you know. Listen carefully. So Pintard is I don't think I played that one yet to show where Pintard immigrants find housing, etc. Let me play that. Because there's some FNMs that came out. I was told that some FNMs came out and said, Pintard never said that. See, when you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. When you lie, and this is actually on July 18th. He recently said this. Here's the interview. And it was on Eyewitness News, I think it was, again.
In other news, opposition leader Michael Pintard is calling out the government's handling of the Shanty town demolition, which allegedly left, says under a Pintard administration, he will...
Let me pause it there for you for a second. You read over here, read what the Eyewitness News, FNM government says it would house displaced residents after Shanty town demolition. See? Let's play it again.
In other news, opposition leader Michael Pintard is calling out the government's handling of the Shanty town demolition, which allegedly left several residents without homes. He says under a Pintard administration, he will ensure those residents, some of which are legal, will have access to housing so that they are not left displaced while the government actively ensures the land is in the hands of the rightful owners.
We are committed to a housing revolution under the Free National Movement. We're not interested in keeping one group of people in one location. If you are here legitimately, you are gainfully employed, you are interested in owning housing, we are interested in helping to provide for all Bahamians, or whether you were born a Bahamian or you became a Bahamian, housing. We do not understand that for a government that says they are going to explode housing possibilities, why that has not been a part of the discussion, that as you demolish, you also seek to, again, say to people, here are all these opportunities that are available for you to find housing elsewhere.
Pintard is also calling out international organizations who he feels should have a hand in assisting those residents.
We're saying for the international agencies, work with us as we seek to regulate these unregulated communities. And in some cases, there's temporary housing that some of the international agencies, in partnership with churches and other groups in the Bahamas, who can assist Bahamians of natural birth or Bahamians otherwise who are now residing in those communities. So there are a number of solutions we believe are possible, and we certainly don't understand why the government isn't pursuing those opportunities.
Pintard literally, and someone said turn up the volume when it was almost today, and I'm so sorry. Pintard called out the government on it, said he should provide housing for these people, they should, and call out the international community saying, help us do this. What? Let me play the first part again.
In other news, opposition leader Michael Pintard is calling out the government's handling.
He says Bahamians from natural birth or otherwise. But anyway, listen to what they're saying. He called out the government and he called out the international community.
In other news, opposition leader Michael Pintard is calling out the government's handling of the Shanty town demolition, which allegedly left several residents without homes. He says under a Pintard administration, he will ensure those residents, some of which are legal, will have access to housing so that they are not left displaced while the government actively ensures the land is in the hands of the rightful owners.
We are committed.
So, if you let the F&M get in, you're in trouble. If you let the PLP continue, you're in trouble. And all that word salad, all that talking all over the place, but housing revolution and all that, they asking you about the Shanty town, and he bring everything in it. He mix up everything, so you can't hold him to nothing. And he can say, well, I didn't mean that, I meant that. Because he's a wordsmith. And so if y'all fall for the tricks of that deceitful man, it's on y'all. Now, I'm going to show you why Pintard never dealt with. It's simple, y'all. You will remember that Pintard was a part of Save the Bays. And Save the Bays, Fred Smith and them, their job was not just fighting that Nygaard thing, you know. They were the ones fighting to make sure that the shanty towns couldn't be broken down. Ruby Georges was a part of that. Remember, they went to the UN and lied on the Bahamas? Well, Pintard was in charge of their PR. So more than likely, it was Pintard who did that fake, and I'm going to show you that. It was Pintard who was in charge of their promotions and PR, ladies and gentlemen. It's Pintard who was pushing them, doing their PR stuff. He created a magazine, I believe, that showed that Bahamians and said that that Haitians were being bitten from dogs. They put it in a slick word salad way. Lied on the Bahamas, embarrassed the Bahamas internationally, and it was treason. He said himself that he worked for Save the Bays, and he wouldn't do it no different. The only thing he said he would have done differently was, because it came out that he worked for Save Bays because of the Togi and Bobo thing. He said he would have made sure, he would have searched Togi and Bobo to make sure they didn't have a record on them. He said that's the only thing he would have done differently when they asked him about it. Bahamas, Pintard, after dealing with that murder for hire situation, where they told him that they had committed crimes or killed or whatever they'd done, and that they were going to do more, and he came out of there and he offered them money, paid them money. They said to do false statements. Pintard paid them to go and lie. It's illegal to do false affidavits. They did an affidavit to that effect saying Pintard paid us to lie. And what did F&M do? Oh, let's make him leader. Boy, you lie like that? Oh yeah, you should be leader to F&M. They said Pintard paid them. Well, he arranged a payment. He said it wasn't his money. To pay them to go and lie. And he said he left there and he didn't feel the need to go to the police after these fellas tell him they was killers and they was going to kill people. Listen to Pintard's response after this whole thing. He did a whole thing and put it out there. I want you all to listen carefully. I hope the volume is good because I want you all to hear him, his words. He had no regrets with all of that. Listen.
I would be prepared to stand with Save the Base again. I would be prepared, dastard act that has been planned by any foreign investor or any member of the government again. And frisk the two fellas in the room to make sure they didn't have any devices. Outside of that, I stand by my decision.
Did y'all hear him? That's his words. He said, he would be prepared to stand with Save the Base again. He was working for Save the Base. He said the only thing he would do different is to frisk them, to search them, make sure they didn't have any recording devices. That's his words. No one else's words. So we go a little bit deeper. Let's go back in time. Okay, so sorry about that. You lost audio. I don't know how that happened, but okay, we're back. And so basically, what I'm going to do now is, sorry you missed all of that. What I was saying earlier. What I'm going to do now is I'm about to share my screen to show you a Tribune report about what really happened then. All right, we're going back. All right, because at the end of the day, I promised to educate the Bahamian people about the politics and what's going on in this country. All right. And so we're going to go back now. And I'm going to show you what was really going on with that Togi and Bobo thing. I'm going to show you what's going on with the Save the Base thing. The Save the Base thing, Pintard was working for Save the Base and he was their PR man. So that thing where where they put that magazine out, I believe it's him that did it. He was the one pushing Save the Base and dealing with all their coordination. He was behind the scenes. Whatever they needed, that's what he did. That's what he was getting paid for. I'm going to show you that. So when they were blocking Haitians from being arrested in this country, that was him. When they were stopping the Shanty dams from being broken down, that was him. They were working together. When they went to the UN and lied on the Bahamas, that was Pintard. Treasonous. And so I'm going to share my screen again now. I'm sorry you missed a lot of it. I'm going to share my screen here. So back to the top. This is from the Tribune. This is the Tribune's insight. F&M has questions to answer over Save the Base. All right, this is from 2016. It says, today in Parliament, the Free National Movement, F&M, will have to answer some serious questions. Over the past few days, the party's reputation has been dragged through the mud and shot, one revelation after the other, one more shocking than the next. And everywhere you turn, the story gets worse. Throughout the country, Bahamians have been calling for the resignation of the F&M's chairman, Michael Pintard. If he does not resign, he should be fired. This was what was going on at the time, and we forget so easily. This is Mr. Pintard's action as a paid member of the Save the Base organization. Do you see that? The F&M later admitted to this, and so did Fred Smith. Mr. Pintard's action as a paid member of the Save the Base organization has left many Bahamians shocked and horrified. How can the chairman of a national political party be a paid proxy for a local pressure group? They ask. We agree. It's Tribune now. One has to question how accommodating Mr. Pintard was in carrying out his duties as chairman. When he spoke, whose interests was he serving? The F&M or his own, or Save the Base? What other arrangements has the chairman made that we, the Bahamian people, do not know about? And besides from the leader of the F&M, who else knew about this special arrangement that the chairman enjoyed? In other words, you're the chairman of a political party, but you're there as a paid hitman for a special interest group that is blocking us from moving illegal immigrants and blocking us from bringing our shanty downs. And they're doing other stuff that you're involved in too with the NIGAD and all that stuff. So let's face it, Save the Base is and has always been a front in this trivial feud between Peter Nygaard and Louis Bacon. Nothing more, nothing less. But as fate would have it, this little feud in Life of Key could possibly destroy any chances the F&M would have of winning the 2017 general election. We say this because the F&M, via its leader, has been running a campaign of anti-corruption and openness in government. They have pointed to Progressive Liberal Party and repeatedly echoed the sentiment that unlike the governing side, the F&M does things the right way, which is a blatant lie. The F&M is just as corrupt or even more corrupt. It says, well, let us make it very clear right now. This new low that the F&M has found itself at is not the right way to do business. When he was chairman, the F&M went to a new low. Now that he is leader, the F&M has again gone to a new low. And only them don't see it. They don't understand why no one is coming to their red splash. They don't understand why no one is coming to their fair. Why no one is feeling Michael Pintard. They have deceived themselves. This continues. You do not compromise your party for money. You do not sell out your party's interests for money. That's what they say in Pintard. This is Tribune. You do not get to hijack legitimate issues, concerns, or tragedies and use them for the narrow interests of others for money. You do not get to do that and claim the moral high ground because you know what you've made yourself, a lobbyist. Talking about Pintard. Pure and simple. They get paid to do a job, and that's fine. But what they don't do is hop on their high horse and tell you or me that what they are doing is in our best interest. Dr. Hubert Minnis had promised the Bahamian people that when the entire sordid affair about this murder for hire scheme is revealed, the Bahamian people will be proud of the FNM's involvement. We find this very hard to believe, and they were right. They just stopped talking about it. As we sat and listened yesterday to the latest audio recording floating around on social media of the meetings between Pintard and the would-be criminals, one has to question how Mr. Pintard can remain in his post, not only as national chairman of the FNM, but also as a senator. To say that he exercised poor judgment in this whole affair is an understatement in the extreme. Hypocrisy. On Saturday, the FNM's leader claimed that his party was not afraid of the government's appeal for U.S. law enforcement to help in the Peter Nygaard-Louis Bacon affair. These are brave words, very brave indeed, when one looks at the fact that many of Dr. Minnis's colleagues have already publicly started to distance themselves from the matter. They started to distance themselves from Pintard and the matter. But the FNM, being the corrupt party that it is, said, you know what, let's make him leader. Nico Grant, Laverne Turner, Hubert Chipman, and all have denied ever meeting Bacon or being involved in any way with this fiasco. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chipman caused quite the stir last week when he expressed concern about the allegations that some members of his party have been intimately involved with Save the Bays in its alleged efforts to destabilize the government. Alleged effort to destabilize the government. Here is what Mr. Chipman had to say in his own words to the press on March 17th. I'm in total shock as to what these organizations were supposed to be. As far as Save the Bays is concerned, I've never met Mr. Bacon, never met Mr. Nygaard. I don't know these people. As far as Fred Smith and Save the Bays, I know he was a part of Save the Bays. I didn't know the other players until they were mentioned in the House of Assembly. I listened with interest and suppose we as a party will have to meet and consider our next steps. To be honest with you, when I really look at it, I don't like what I'm hearing. That politics in this country is being influenced by foreigners, particularly when it comes to Nygaard and Mr. Bacon. We have to say kudos to Mr. Chipman for speaking up because it takes a certain amount of guts to do so, particularly when you are contradicting the words of your own party leader, who only 3 days earlier said that the FNM had always been made aware of the relationship that its chairman, Pintard, has with Save the Bays. Well, Bacon was funding the FNM and funding Michael Pintard. So people say Michael Pintard did some good, nice stuff in his constituency. No, that's Fred Smith, them giving him money to be able to do so he could look good, so that they can make him prime minister to be their puppet to do their bidding. Now they will have full control. And now they don't have to worry about the courts. Whatever they want Pintard to do with the illegal immigrants, he will do. Whatever they want him to do with the Shanty Downs, he will do. He will do as he is told because they paid him and all that stuff. They brought, Pintard's a good MP. He's give away stuff. He's do this. He's do that. That's Fred Smith, them making sure he has money to do that to look good. That's why they keep you all poor. So that when they come with the handout, you say the person good. Drug dealers give away. Armed robbers give away to the community. Mobsters, gangsters give away to the community to make sure everyone like them and no one snitches on them. Someone coming in and bringing a trailer of turkey in your community does not make them good. There's some alternative, and they keep you poor so that when they come, you could appreciate these things. And so they went on and on about this thing going on. The FNM has, on March 14th, the minister said in a statement, the FNM has always been made aware of the relationship that Mr. Michael Pintard, national chairman, has had with the Save the Bays organization, a genuine environmental group. As a member thereof from its early days, also with the Bahamian law firm Callis & Co. So, in other words, Pintard was a member of Save the Bays from its early days, from the beginning. Pintard, Louis Georges, Fred Smith, etc. Y'all have forgotten that all that treason, all that stuff with immigration, that's why he was afraid to touch it before. But see, they just want him to be prime minister now to do their bidding. So they give him the authorization, man, talk, say what you got to say. Just get there. Just tell them Bahamian people anything they need to hear. We just need you to get there. And then we do what we want, like they always do. So don't trust this man when he start talking these shady talks about you have a referendum on citizenship. It sounds like a Perry Christie type stuff. He's a puppet. He was a part of Save the Bays with Lou B. Georges, Fred Smith, who committed treason against this nation. Why am I telling you this? Because there's some people who, after you start talking about immigration, may say, you know what? Yeah, this government bad for immigration. Let's swing and go to the FNM. Because Pintard now talking about it. I like how he's saying. I want you to see the facts. We always get swing. I have to tell you the truth, and you make your decision. But don't say you were not warned. Your country is in trouble. Pintard flamming. Kamala is flamming. Her and Biden wants to flood this country with immigrants, wants to take our social service money and give it to these people, paying their rent, paying their food, paying for their medical expenses on your backs. That's their words, not mine. Let's continue. Minister said that Pintard was a member of Save the Bays from the beginning, from the early days of Save the Bays. Also, with the Bahamian law firm Callis & Co., who have retained his professional services for the past 4 years. So he was, Callis & Co. is Fred Smith. Fred Smith then was paying him. What professional service? What does he do? Poet? They was writing poetry? No, he's connected to gangsters. Pintard is, and so they was using him to connect the gangsters. He's good at PR, so they was using him for their PR stuff, their promotion and PR for their Save the Bay stuff. How should we say this? How should we do that? Do a magazine and make the Bahamas look evil, make immigration look evil in the magazine, and then share that with the international community. Go to the UN and show them these bad dogs. That time, immigration didn't have no dogs. Just Pintard them doing that. You don't have to listen to me, you know. Do as you will, but you were warned. Said, who have retained his professional services for the past 4 years. So far as the FNM is aware, there is nothing untoward in the party's chairman's involvement with a non-profit environmental group and their firm of Bahamian attorneys. That was Menace. Covering for Pintard. There's Pintard who later threw him under the bus. Menace lied for Pintard. You know someone love you when they lie for you. Menace lied for Pintard. Say the FNM is fully aware. That time the MPs was like, what? We ain't know, but that's what's going on. Dr. Menace's statements, as usual, do not line up with reality because clearly some members of his party take issue with Pintard's extracurricular activity. Confusion. Another issue of concern in this whole affair is Dr. Menace's staunch defense of Save the Bays. to save the base was funding him. When the organization was being questioned in the House of Assembly by the Minister of Education, Jerome Fitzgerald, Dr. Minnis personally vouched for their authenticity. So I'm not going to go into all of the rest of this. Go search it and read it for yourself. But Minnis lied for him. Minnis deceived the Bahamian public for Pintard. And you see where him and Minnis is right now. But they were paying him. He was on their payroll. And when that was exposed, if you go and Google it, you're going to see where everyone was questioning it and saying, Pintard really got to go. But the F&M prefers corruption, apparently. So there's another article here that shows, I think I better read some of this. Let me share this with you, because they didn't go into all this in the last one. It's another I think it's a Tribune article. Remember, the Tribune is the paper of the F&M. So let me share this with you. All right, this is the Tribune again. Pintard resigns as chairman after the NIGAD controversy. So again, they talk about some of that other stuff that you heard already. And then he said, I found no legal or ethical wrongdoing in my role in meetings when PLP NIGAD operatives made me aware of their past criminal acts. They made him aware of their past criminal acts, meaning murder, killing people, and possible dastardly and unbelievable plot to pose a potential threat to the lives and reputations of citizens of this nation. And so there was he called it a dastardly and unbelievable plot to pose potential threat to the lives, to kill. He just play word salads. And to kill the lives and reputation of citizens of this nation. Yet, he didn't leave out there as a dastardly plot and go and talk to the police. He went and arranged payment for them, $500,000 each. They say to go and lie in statements. He said, I resign because I want, he talked about him. I'll skip. Pintard has been mired in controversy since he was named in a lawsuit. He was named in a lawsuit filed on March 9th against Mr. Nygaard, Code Smith, against Code Smith and others, including Romy Ferrero. Right? He says the lawsuit alleges that Mr. Nygaard engaged in a murder for hire scheme with criminals Livingston Togi Bobo and Wesley Bobo, and paid them to stage several hate rallies and committed such criminal acts as arson and harassment. It was revealed that the criminals were tracked down with the help of Pintard. Pintard is connected to the criminal underworld. Remember, I've already told you this. I don't want you to play like you didn't know if you vote for him and you start to see what really happens. Don't play like you didn't know. All right? And so they paid Pintard to go and find Togi and Bobo. And Pintard used his connections, like with Emperor and other persons, the criminals that are close friends with Pintard from the drug world, and they got Togi and Bobo. Continuing, Mr. Bullard and Mr. De Velma, Togi and Bobo, were compensated for their evidence. However, the men later claimed they were paid for false testimony and that Pintard negotiated the payoff. You see? This who will be Prime Minister. When the Tribune asked Mr. Pintard if he was compensated for his role in this lawsuit, he said he would address that in a later press release. In other words, he answered. He said he could address it later. But did he address it? No. To this day, he still ain't address it. Save the Bay's director, Fred Smith, confirmed that Mr. Pintard had a professional relationship with his law firm, Callens & Co., and has paid the F&M chairman in the past for services in connection with campaigns for the Grand Bahama Human Rights Association. All right? Talking about Save the Bays and whatever else. And other civic issues. However, Mr. Smith would not confirm whether Pintard has been compensated in connection with the NIGAD lawsuit, stating that his private arrangements with the law firm were private. 2 audio recordings have been circulating on social media of the meetings between Pintard and the would-be criminals. In his Facebook post, Mr. Pintard said, the F&M and the PLP are different in how we approach. He started talking about politics. Instead of dealing with the issue, he started talking about we could be a better party and all this kind of nonsense. All right? And so they go on. All right? So go do some research and that. Go Google and do whatever you got to do and see what really was going on. So if he was just working for them, etc., that's fine. My problem is, you saw there, he was dealing with their campaigns. All right? With Save the Bay's campaigns, with Fred Smith them. It wasn't only with reference to this NIGAD Louis Bacon thing. You know, they were also dealing with this immigration thing. That was the big issue. Pintard was behind that. These people was paying him. He was their political prostitute, literally, admittingly. As I continue, I'm going to open the phone lines. You can call me on the regular line. Make sure these are open. You can call me on the regular line. If you're just tuning in, we're going to have a back to school haircuts on the 30th. It's going to be at GQ Haircuts. There's a green building in the corner of Shirley Street and Camp Road. That's the first location. We're going to have another location. We'll let you know what that location is later this week. But that's going to be on the 30th. So you could bring your young people there to get their haircuts. All right. So if you're just tuning in, and make sure you be a part of that. You can call us on WhatsApp or regular line. Regular line now. Remember, I told you that my phone had dropped in the ocean when we went to Grand Key. So if you've been trying to call me for all these weeks, you couldn't get me because I have to buy special phones for a certain reason. And so I had to wait till I could get a special phone. I just got that up. So if you've been trying to reach me or hoping that I could reach you, I lost all my numbers. I lost everything. But now I'm back up and running. All right. So we just want to make sure that you understand that, so you know exactly what's going on. All right. So 803-5995 is the number. Let me put it up on the screen for you. 803-5995 is the number. We think about all of this immigration stuff. We got more to talk about. So, but we think about all this immigration stuff and with the government, and Pintard, and all of a sudden, we talk about immigration, but we know what his track record is. We know who pays him off. We know who's been buttering his bread. Doing a service for a company is no problem. That ain't no big issue. All right. But we know that he was a member of that organization that was doing treason to this country. If he was just doing stuff to expose NIGAD, I down with that. I'm fine with that. But you were a member from the beginning of Save the Bays with Luby Georges. Let me show you all Luby Georges. 803-5995 is the number. You can call on WhatsApp call, or you can call on regular line. Oh, sorry, that was on Do Not Disturb. I'm sorry. Make sure that this one is up also. Okay, let's take the phone lines. Caller, you live. Go ahead. Right here, man. Hold on one second. Let me put you on speaker so they can hear you. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, my phone was down for weeks, actually.
Only one thing bothering me, Lincoln, man. this illegal voting process. That's what's bothering me. What is going to happen if I go to the polls and I see 3-4 Haitian in front of me, and I know they Haitian, and they're going to vote in our election and they shouldn't vote? What are you think up there? Like,
If they shouldn't vote, speak up. Tell the COI representatives at the poll who was there. If you know that they shouldn't be voting, tell them, and so they can do what they have to do. In terms of any strategies that we have to deal with that, I'm not going to be speaking our strategies this far out, because then you're helping the enemy.
Understood. I just saying, but for a potential voter like me, you know me, you know what I'm all about.
Yeah.
And I about defending my country.
Yes.
You understand me? And I'm just saying, you know, what if that happens? I got 3-4 Haitian in front of me ready to go vote.
Right. I just told you what to do, so that's straight. Yeah.
Anyhow, everything cool though.
Yeah, man, everything is good. We got a plan to deal with that, but I can't talk it.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, man.
I know that.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right, man. 803-5995. I can only take one call at a time because the post is on the same number. And so next call you can call, and I saw other people trying to call in. Okay, let's go. Caller, you're live. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, caller, you're live.
Yes, I was calling about the immigration concern about voting as well. Like,
Yes.
want to say that. I wouldn't say it's a fear, but it's a real concern. Seeing like what happened in elections in the U.S. Like election interference is a serious thing in the country. Either you have it, the country, or you lose it during that time.
Yes.
So my concern is how can we prevent election interference?
Now, you asking me, we are going to try our best to prevent election interference, but I am not going to say what we plan on doing for the government to hear so that they can come up with a solution. But you can be rest assured that we are going to do everything in our power, and we have to fight it. Even if at the end of the day, on election day, we have to come out and protest and shut that thing down. If we see this cheating going on, we have to do it. The international community will be there, and we have to make sure that they don't rob us.
Okay, is there something in place, right? You see, okay, let's say election go through, votes come in, and then a recount. Is there something in place that could possibly have a recount and all the evidence of voters?
Yeah, they have election courts to deal with that, and so we'll be prepared to go to election courts, even if we got to take it to the Privy Council. But we'll be prepared to take election court. But Bahamians got to be ready to stand up and fight. If you see that there's cheating going on, the international community, once we raise hell over it, will not recognize their election, and it has happened in many other countries. And so we have some stuff in place within the system that we're going to make sure we do. But at the end of the day, we have to be prepared to fight for this country. We can't let no foreigners come in this country, buy passports, and steal election. You all have to be willing to stand up and fight for this country, because if you don't, then you don't deserve to have it. It's simple as that. All right, my brother. All right, man. Okay, next call. I see people calling in the background. I can only take one call at a time. So whoever is next, you can call in now. 803-5995 is the number. You can regular call or WhatsApp call. It's up to you. All right? Okay, here we go. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, man. I just wanted to say I appreciate the topic of today.
Thank you, man.
Simply because we were discussing the purposes of the biometric card system. That it's very important for us to understand that these legal documents that has already passed out are already in the system, because from the interview taken on behalf of the Office of the Prime Minister, the House stated that when they gave out those passports were biometric, detailed, meaning that persons had to give their fingerprints. So all of the Haitian migrants already that has these documents already given their biometrics to immigration officials. Now, with that being said, what is the next step that we have to take to really address this implementation that has been rushed on the Bahamian people, unbeknown to us, that it also will entail the storage of our personal data? Who's in control of that? And who will be storing that information? Valentine Grimes is not a very good candidate from his past performances with the Progressive Liberal Party and his gentrification initiatives with trying to erase the identity of our lost fallen soldiers with their veterans graveyard there on Infantry Road. I mean, and how do we address this flagrant abuse of official office? This is a critical point right now, because even though we may go to the polls and we see migrants that we know are Haitian migrants that should not be at the polls, this is little that we're seeing. The juggernaut of their illegal actions has already occurred by the documents that they have already given out, that they have already logged into their biometric system.
Yeah, so you asked a lot of questions in a couple of seconds, but I'll start with the biometric system. Go into biometrics. I don't think. I'm sorry. Go into the ID cards, the plastic cards won't hurt in itself, but I just don't trust this government, and I don't trust the person they're putting in charge of it, whose name you called. Valentine Grimes, as long as he's a part, anything to do with him in election, to me is going to be corrupt. And so the fact that he's the person being considered for that, I'm out. And I know that it's going to be corruption, because you don't put him in charge of anything that you don't want corrupted. That's just my opinion of him. And so that alone means that no, they need to hold off, wait till after election, don't rush this, do this after election. Now, what they're doing is they want the Haitians to vote, but they don't want another check and balance. Once they get their passports, right? And if they get it to the back door or whatever, they go on to the process, they get their passport. Some of them got it to the front door, but they get their passport, they did their biometrics. They don't want a second check and balance. The passport verification is one thing. The election verification is supposed to be another thing. You don't mix the two, because you need to make sure that the passport thing is legit. That's why when you go to register, they don't take any verification from anything else you did. They don't say, okay, you signed into the bank. Let's use whatever. Show us your bank account. Once you have a bank account, the bank would have verified your address. So we're good with that because you have a bank account. No, you don't depend on that. You need to verify for yourself that this voter is who he says he is. The passport office could have done wrong. They could have messed it up. We've seen false passports happen. And so we need to make sure that everything is legit with all of this. All right. So all right. So I don't trust anything that they are doing. I don't, because they put Valentine Grimes in, or at least being considered. All right. And so just because he's being considered, I'm not interested. All right. But
why would you propose an old guard from your olden days parties that was villainized during his tenure as an MP and as a member of government? Why would you bring him back after all of this time? They are new minds, better educated, and better technology savvy. I mean,
yeah, he's corrupt and he knows the trick, so that's why. All right, caller, thanks for calling.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. I want you to see this. Louis Georges did this post where he said the Bahamas, this is from 2019. Yeah, we researched. The Bahamas is an underpopulated country. He said, we are dealing with a country that's underpopulated. We said the Bahamas is an underpopulated country. In other words, we got full list right up. It's Louis Georges. You see? In other words, they come in to take this. They can populate this with their people. You see? He just made that statement out of the blue. The Bahamas is an underpopulated country. Hold one sec, caller. Hold one sec. And he also made another statement. All right? He made this other statement after this government got in. See, they bided their time. He said, who can be there? Let's be there. What you have to say, bring it. This year, we will start to have the community sit with them in big places. We are not in the bushes anymore. We are not in the church anymore. We are doing it in a big way, like the other places. This is a translation that Facebook did, trying to translate the Creole. He wrote it in. In other words, he's saying, we got the government now. All right? We in charge. Get out the bushes. We ain't in the bushes no more. We taking over. This Luby post on Facebook after this government took over. Now, y'all can sit down and do nothing. That's on y'all. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bain.
Good afternoon.
This is Shamin Adli here.
Hey, Shamin Adli. How you doing?
Candidate for doing super. Thank God for grace and thank God for this topic today. And I just want to definitely call on all the residents of Golden Gates in particular. So let's stand together for our country right now. We are heads in the sand on such an important matter. It is very sad to see that the trusted governments, this government in particular, with the powers to govern our country, and then now you're going to turn around and bring up people into the land. It's alleged that now you brought these people in and you want them to take over the country. I think that's the most traitorous thing I've ever seen in my life. And so this Bahamas is for Bahamians. And so I'm calling on all residents of Golden Gates to stand up now. Let's be counted. Let's get to those polls. This coming Saturday, we are opening the headquarters for Golden Gates. I want every Bahamian to stand together with us. That's Malcolm Road West. And I want to get Bahamians to come together and let's stand and be counted in this Bahamas, that we will defend our country. We don't have any place else to run. Other people go run back to their own land. We can't run to America the way we used to anymore. Trump will send you back home. This is our land. This is our time to stand. And I don't like it one bit. If you're going to have persons come here, it's not about hating people from anywhere. The problem is, you want to tell me now in my own country that you intend to take it away from me, disenfranchise me, disinherit me, and my generations to come, and I'm supposed to sit down and be okay with that. Something got to be wrong with that. And any true red-blooded Bahamian would come up, would stand up and be counted in this time and in this season when our country is literally at stake. You can find us on Malcolm Road West from this coming Saturday going forward. We are going to stand and we're going to defend our land. And I'm calling on all residents, all citizens, all Bahamians in Golden Gates to get up, to stand up, and to be counted as we defend our Bahama land.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bahamas. Thank you so much, Golden Gates.
All right. 803-5995 is the number. I see a lot of people trying to call in. But again, I can only take one at a time. 803-5995 is the number. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to fight for this. This is all we got. And they say I'm doing this for political gain. This is not politically expedient. Because me standing up for what is right is going to offend a lot of people who identify with the problem. They're going to be people who said, oh, he hates Asians and I'm going to vote for him. When it has nothing to do with hate. This isn't politically expedient. If this was for politics, I would be like you pandering to all the voters. I'd be pandering to those people who come here illegally. and pay off to get their citizenship, etc. I'm not doing that. This isn't for politics. This don't benefit me, but this will benefit our nation, what I am doing. And I believe that God does not want this country to be taken over by a people who serve other gods. I said it. Not all of them. There are many of them who are good, decent Christians. But there are gangsters who have now reached the Bahamas. Call, I coming to you right now. Our central bank has been warned to look out for the money of these gangsters. I told you months ago that the gangsters from Port-au-Prince reach. I pointed to the bushes where they live in. We went there. These gangsters are running the streets. They're killing our Bahamian young men. They're killing each other. You see what's happening in Turks and Caicos, that beautiful place? They're now neck and neck with us with murders. Turks and Caicos, man. Y'all see it happening there. What you think is going to happen here? You just love your party that much. You see the nonsense they doing. But you just got to love them more than you love yourself. Y'all know Pintard ain't going to do nothing for immigration. Brent Simonette was bragging about how much citizenship she was giving out every week. Must be 135 a week, he said? A week? Like Luby said, the same about the Bushes no more. They coming on playing because they got the government. They got Luby standing up with the voodoo bead on, standing next to the Prime Minister. They showing you what they into. You got Frankie Florville. See, the first when someone call like coming to abuse you, first he talks to you bad. Like Frankie Florida. To all Bahamians. Cuss us out. Call you stupid. That's what abusers start doing. All y'all stupid, y'all dumb. Talking down to Bahamians. Oh, we smarter than y'all. We's a different breed. Oh, we got money now. Y'all broke. They bragging off of you. Because they getting all the opportunities. Because they got the government. They getting the contracts. They're bragging. That's how the abusers start. And then the violence comes. It don't start with the violence. It starts with the verbal abuse. Then it's the physical abuse. It's the Prime Minister. I wish I could enlarge this. But that's their little beads on their hand. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Ben. How you doing?
Awesome, man.
Yeah, Mr. Ben, you know, in my 40 years of billing, right, I watched them putting numbers on these houses, and they just going to break them down, right? But in my 40 years of billing, I know that you cannot build a house without a building permit, okay? But here it is, the Bahamian build a house without, you will see all of them inspectors around, and the first thing they will do is put you before the court, right? And after you get charged for that, then they bring the house down. But here it is, the Haitians them come and build unregulated homes. And the only thing they do is just go and spray a number on it and give them time to get out. And then break it down without charging them, plus giving them $1,200 a month. When we have elderly people here only getting $300 a month. I mean, this is abuse of the Bahamian people taxpayers' money.
How much a month?
When they build thousands of houses and not one of them are being charged for building them unregulated houses. I just want to put that in there, Mr. Bain. Have a blessed day. You're doing a wonderful job, and
Thank
continue
you.
on. Be fighting along with you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you call in, you got to call fast. I got to go spend time. So call in. Don't wait. All right? So there's your chance. Speak, say what you have to say. But your social services money is going towards immigrants, whether they now have permanent residency or they're legal, et cetera, et cetera. It is happening. Like I said, you saw the live that we did, and we showed you the immigrants saying that. So who you gonna believe? What the government is trying to tell you is don't believe your lying eyes. Because you see the influx, you see what's going on, but they're telling you don't believe your own truth. Believe them. Call you live, go ahead.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Bain. How you doing?
Right here, my brother.
Enjoying the topic as I do every Sunday. I had the opportunity to visit the mainland Exuma, and I did an interview with the COI candidate down there on my TikTok channel, Byron Smith.
Okay.
He seems to be on the ball. I'm wishing him all the success in that particular constituency. But seeing that you've already addressed most of, because I was going to call in about the same thing in regards to foreigners holding Bahamian passports and can't speak a word of English, but you addressed all of that. My main concern is that almost on a weekly basis, over and over again, you have people like Louis George, Frankie, you have people burning the flag, and it just goes like as if it's nothing. We don't take our sovereignty seriously.
Yeah.
If we are allowing individuals to come on TV, spew this nonsense, like the pastor, basically, I watched that Nick Miller interview with him, and I was like, why is Mr. Miller even allowing him to spew such garbage, as if we, as Bahamians, are obligated to follow what they're doing?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I agree with the last caller. I mean, no Bahamians could go anywhere and talk about they starting the bill. I mean, there are hundreds. When I was on the mainland Exuma, Mr. Bain, I could swear I was in Little Lady. I could count the amount of Bahamians. And these cannot be Haitians who have been there for years and years, because, like I said, none of them can speak a lick of English. It's a very scary situation. I am hoping that Bahamian populace wake up and see what's happening, for the Prime Minister to come on TV and say outright, lie outright, that there isn't an illegal immigration problem when you have Shanty towns and Andros. I mean, and well, there was always in Abaco. But then each and every one of our islands are being, I mean, just, we don't even know what's in the back of the bush. Judge the 700 islands and keys. We don't know which boat slipped through. They might have a whole community on this key, that key. It is a really very scary situation. Even more so that our government are literally, you have Haitians coming over who have never been here with brand new Bahamian passports. And this is why I have a situation with the same whole biometric. Once they're in the system, they're in the system. And their agenda has already been, they broadcast their agenda on a daily basis. They are going to vote for the PLP. So that, I don't know. I mean, like I said, even visiting Nassau.
Well, I will tell you, not everyone who is of Haitian descent agrees with what's happening with the PLP. A lot of them had to do things the right way. But now they see people just coming and paying off people, and there's a huge network going on. And Louis Georges is making a lot of money off of this whole situation, and that's why he wants it to continue. And so there's a network of people who just bring people to him, and he has to hook up because he's with government. So he just made that known, took a picture with the Prime Minister and made it known that he is their man, and that's how he's making money from the consultation. And so he's benefiting from this, you see? And so, but a lot of Haitians don't agree with what's happening. And I want them to know, that what destroyed Haiti was the corruption. And many of you are here, you've been here all your life. Some of you are permanent residents now, some of you are citizens now. Um, and you have children here. And if you want this country to turn into what you ran from, then vote for the PLP. Vote for the FNM. As simple as that.
Because I truly believe that there are, like you said, there are Haitians there are individuals of Haitian descent who contribute. There's a lot of them who contribute in the right way to the progress of the Bahamas. And I think that they would have a problem or do have a problem with this influx because, like you said, they don't want their children to be living in a place that they run from. Because if all these influx, all these shanty towns continue, they would be like, what did I run away from?
Yeah.
It has actually seek us out, and now we're back in the same situation. So I do agree with you that there are a whole slew of committed Bahamians, Bahamians of Haitian descent who want this country to prosper like organic Bahamians. So I'll give some other callers time to chime in.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much for your...
All right. All right, my brother. 803-5995. And so, like I said, listen, you get what you vote for. If you want this country to go back to the FNM and where you came from with them, and the corruption that we experienced there, then listen, you know how to do that. That's very easy. You know what you're going to get if you vote for the FNM or PLP. That's a very easy one. It's easy. If you want more of what you're experiencing now, with Bahamians being neglected, Bahamians being put for last, the Chinese taking over this country, and that's a serious concern for a lot of people, the Chinese influence that's going on in this country. They're now getting a loan from the Chinese to build a hospital, but we have all these natural resources we could benefit from. Now they're talking about we're going to benefit from the carbon credits all of a sudden. The carbon credits that they said wasn't real and that you shouldn't believe Lincoln Bain because carbon credits isn't real. Now they're saying that they struck a deal with the carbon credits. You could continue to listen to the people who've been lying to you. It's your choice. Caller, coming right now, caller. Give me 1 sec. People prophesy this one go win, that one go win, etc., etc. God always gives his people a choice. That's what he does. He gives you a choice. And so you could choose to go forward 50 years or backwards 50 years. It's your choice. And so that's what God is going to do. He's going to give us a choice. And whatever bed you make, you lay in it. It's simple as that. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. President. How are you?
Awesome.
Great. I just wanted to chime in. I don't know if this point was made earlier, but what concerns me is longevity. I am thinking about the Haitian women that are breathers. They're coming into this country and they're popping out babies like popcorn. And I believe all governments should put a limit on the amount of children they can give birth to in this country. I just believe it's too much.
Well, we won't have that problem moving forward because if you come to this country and you have a baby, your baby will not be able to be a Bahamian. Bahamian citizen.
Yeah.
And so we're going to end naturalization. So we don't have to worry about that. Other countries have done it. Dubai, Qatar, all of these nations, they've done it. And so we're going to do the same thing.
Wonderful. Well, that is music to my ear.
Because if you're surrounded by countries with millions of people, at any time they could come and take you over. And you saw the post that Louis Georges did. He said the Bahamas is a very underpopulated country. He is sending a message.
Who is this man? Where he come from? How does he get so much power in this country?
Corruption is how you get power in this country. Corruption.
Oh, God. I listen, just saying that name is just affect me negatively.
Yeah.
But the other point that I want to make, Mr. President, is that, I've heard people on the ground stating that they don't know that there there's anyone in the country that can whip this situation back under control. And I said, I agree with you. For what we have now, there is absolutely no one. But there is a ram in the thicket. There is a Joshua who is just right on the hilltop waiting for his opportunity to lead us over into the new Bahamas, like Moses or Joshua did with the people, the Israelites into the promised land. I said, he's right there. And believe me, he is going to be the first prime minister that I know about that isn't running to be the minister of finance. He is going to be the minister responsible for immigration. And I guarantee you, Bahamas, hear me and hear me well, this problem will be whipped into shape because our president / prime minister has a passion for this country, means this country well, the others do not. And I repeat, they do not. And we have to just stop being so sheepish. I call you sheep because they just follow. They don't ask questions. Sometimes it pays to be goats. And you want to book somebody and you want to ask questions and you want to take people to task. Sometimes in life, that is so very important. And I want Bahamians, I know a lot of your eyes are open, and I know that many more of you are waking up. And the longer they take to ring this bell, the worse it's going to be for this government. Those are my words for the day. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to, hold on, another call. Quality Live, go ahead. Go ahead, Quality Live.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm awesome.
All right. I think the immigration issue is the major now in this country, and I believe that a lot of things can change or should change once your government win. And I was thinking about the American style when it comes to people that are paying the green card in their country. And I think that we should follow when it comes to that, when it comes to giving people even citizenship or permanent residency. And what I mean by that, anyone born in this country that commit any indictable offense should be they should lose entitlement to citizenship or permanent residency once they're being brought guilty on an indictable offense and get shipped out of this country after they finish their sentence. I feel like those laws, we need to enact those kind of laws too in this country so we can get rid of a lot of these people that don't understand the entitlement. I mean, the privilege that have to stay to be in this country.
I agree.
Do you agree?
100%.
Yes, sir. So I believe that when your government come into power, I think that you should consider that. And not only that, like you say, with the people born in this country, they come here, they have a lot of kids and stuff like that. We need to really, like I hear the FNM said it the other day, Pintard said he's going to have a referendum on that particular same subject, but to try and end that. And it is possible. We have to use a referendum in 3/4 of both of the House to change that situation. With I think in the Constitution, where we're able now to end that privilege, that entitlement, where they have to be citizens in this country when they turn 18, where they're able to do. But what I'm talking about is how come a lot of these kids that were born to foreign parents, illegal or legal in this country, come right out of school and join our police force, customs, immigration, and they are not citizens of this country? How is that even possible?
My brother, all of the problems that we have in this country is due to the PLP and FNM. The easiest and the quickest solution is to just get rid of them. That's it. And that's all.
Yes, sir, I agree 100% because the law states that they have to apply for citizenship at 18. They have 1 year window. So how could you come out of school and go straight on our government services? That's supposed to be against the law. But we having this been happening. So that means that all of these ones, they're legally on a job. That's not our constitution.
Yes.
See, I'm saying, so a lot of things need to really be checked in this country and dealt with immediately. And that's why we have so much problems now, because we have these people all in our services. And so how we expect to hold down the law when they all about in our government services, when they're supposed to be?
We're going to fix it. Thanks for your call, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Call you live. Go ahead.
Hello, good day. How you doing?
I'm awesome.
That's good. I have a question to ask. With the government now getting ready to house the immigrants with social service.
Hold on. They're not getting ready to house them. They have been housing them. And we exposed that a couple of years ago. And the clip that I showed at the beginning of the show, that was from a year ago when they said they were housing these immigrants. So they're not getting ready to house them. They have been spending our social services money. That's why ain't none for y'all. They've been spending it.
Well, with that being said, I want to encourage every Bahamian right now to go to social service come Monday morning, tomorrow, God first, and go and apply for rental assistance for that 3 months so you can catch yourself with your light bill, your water bill, or whatever. If you need assistance with electrical, if you already have your house, go and apply with social service because it have the balance out. You just can't spend the money on the the other nationality and don't want to give it to us because every time when you go to apply for these things, it's always an issue.
Yeah.
But I ain't really going to say that. I want to say this. If they are saying these persons are persons that has permit for working, and now we already come to figure out, okay, now, yes, we know these things are fake documents. So, okay, if the government now is saying, okay, they are not fake documents, they got these things the right way from, these potential or however business owners that brought them into our country to work. Okay, so now they didn't house them. So seeing that now we find out they didn't house them and they in the Shanty down. Are they now trying to find out who are the persons who I guess responsible?
No, they're not. They're not doing anything.
Okay, so that's what needs to happen because now investigations needs to come down on persons who they are saying apply for work permit. And when we find out now that there is absolutely nobody, because nobody is going to accept, let me don't say nobody, but it's going to be hard for Bahamians to want to accept monies for Haitians to lie and say they brought them in to work for them.
What they're doing is they're having Bahamians of Haitian descent apply for them now. So there's a ring going on. So they're applying for them. All right. And I had access to look at a lot of the people that Louis Georges is dealing with. He's dealing with a lot of the more wealthy Bahamians. He is charging them to get their people straight. And so he's making a lot of money from that. And you have a lot of the Bahamians of Haitian descent applying for people to get in and they're getting paid. Some of them are getting paid like on a weekly basis. They'll help someone get in and then the person will say, okay, pay me $150 a week or pay me $200 a week for you to have that permit. If you don't pay me, then I could tell them I fire you and you got to go back.
Okay, but when applying to bring in other nationality, do they not have to provide proof to the government that they have a secure living place for these people, living conditions?
No, they should, but it's a corrupt system, so they're not doing anything that they're supposed to do. All of these work permits that you see around, all of these immigrants have work permits now, and that's why immigration can't do their job. Their hands are tied because everyone have a work permit on them. That's because they paid for it under the table for the most part. And so, because all of them are supposed to be advertised in the paper. Say again?
I say I used to work to the registrar general department, and I see the black market business going on with my own eyes at the registrar.
Yeah.
Nah, so
And they're playing like it isn't happening, but money is being made. That's why they're allowing it. They're selling out this country for a couple dollars. Thanks for your call.
So, all right, thank you.
All right. Caller, you live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
I just wanted to say, to clear up a lot of confusion. A lot of people say that we're being prejudiced against certain people, but let me just remind people, even when God spoke to the Israelites, he warned them about having too many foreigners. He warned them about not regularizing them. They may not have used the word back then. And they had to follow the rules of Israel. It was that simple. So that's the Bible saying that. And that, to me, that's the final authority.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Have a good night.
All right. We don't even have to go there. Hold the line one sec, caller. I'll get you right now. We don't even have to go there. It's simple as this. In Haiti, in Haiti, the law is that you cannot own property if you are a foreigner. You can't do nothing on their property if you are a foreigner. You could rent, but you cannot own their property. All right? You cannot run for any public office in Haiti, any public office in Haiti, if you're not a Haitian of origin. That's the word they put in there, that xenophobic word, Haitian of origin, and you own property. I've shown you their, and that's in their constitution, not in any law or any policy. The problem with us is we don't have none of that, no protections in our laws. And we're asking the politicians to do what's right. That's it. We're just asking because these just policies we're talking about, not laws. And so we have to change our laws to defend our nation. Finland had a law to defend our land, but Ingram took it away. And so we're not protected right now. Right now, a foreigner can come in this country, one of those Haitian gangsters can come in this country, be here for a few years, pay off someone to get a citizenship or get it the right way, and then be running in the election. It's that simple. And if they outnumber us, they can vote for their people. That's their man. He can say, hey, like you, let's take this over. And then what? You wait because you just love your country. You could just wait. You could just trust Brave. You could just trust Pintard. Well, I ain't trusting none of them. And by any means necessary, we're not going to let this country be overrun. By any means necessary. Go ahead, call you live.
Thank you, Mr. Bean, for educating the Bahamians, taking time with your busy schedule every Sunday. Appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you. God bless you.
My point is, we have persons coming in on work permit. They don't have proper housing. They have, and they come over with work permits. Then they have children, and now these children have to compete with our children for schools, for seats in our public school system. When they come over with work permit, they're supposed to have their children are supposed to be in private schools. Why we allowing all this blackness in this country?
That is true.
All of this putting a burden on our public school system and putting a burden on our healthcare system. We ain't building no new schools. We ain't building new hospitals. But then we allowing more. We putting in for work permits. We signing up new work permits.
Yeah.
We ain't expanding what we offering the resources to our people. We can't handle our people. So how we handling other people with work permits?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bean, for educating us.
Yeah. We're going to fix this country. Just go out there and you spread the word and you get your family and friends. You just get your people. Let's make it happen.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we're going to get it done. It's not what I do. It's what you do. You have to go there and get your family and friends. You have to get them. All right. The government and all of them, they're going to come after me. They don't even want me to get to the election. They are terrified of me being in the House of Assembly. They don't want no one else in ZY. They want but me being in the House of Assembly because they know that I understand the power of a member of parliament. They know that they are going to be held to account. They know that their gravy train is going to be over. And what they fear most is that we're going to empower you. That's what they're afraid of. They're not afraid of us being empowered, They're afraid of you being empowered. That terrifies them. And that's what this mission is about. Empowering our people. I've gone long today. Sorry I missed another caller, but I gotta go. I gotta go spend some time. Bahamas always have me. I gotta tend to my children and make sure they get straight back in school and all that kind of stuff. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed this. Next week we're gonna be in studio. So again, you can join us in studio if you wish. It's not a town hall meeting, but we're just there, and it's always open to you to come in and be a part of it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have to save our country. Don't fall for the tricks of Pintard and them. Don't fall for the media. Don't believe nothing the media say about politics. All right? Nothing. They say they're going to twist everything based on what instructions they got. You know it. They always complain about it. Even the reporters complain about it. Then they come and try to play like they're legit. No, they're not legit. They are not by far legit. There's nothing legit about them. All right. Let me take this last caller. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Bean, how you doing this evening?
Awesome, man.
Let me tell you, you're doing an excellent job, number one.
Yes.
Number two, to all Bahamians out there, what you have to realize, a vote for the FNM is a vote for the PLP. The Haitians already pledged their votes to the PLP government. We need to come out in numbers to prove that it's us against them. Pintard and Brave are pandering to the Haitian people. Who is there for the Bahamian, organic Bahamian? Only one person, that's Mr. Bean and the COI. Don't waste your votes on those other corrupted parties. That's all I have to say, Mr. Bean. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I just want to play this video before we go. Because when you see this, I want to remind you, PLP and FNM is one. You remember this when you see it.
No. I don't have any difficulty in talking to the member for Bamboo Town. I told him before that Bamboo Town is a nice test case. Here's a case where you and I have taken two gentlemen who want to be leaders of the Bahamas and are putting them up as candidates. There's another gentleman there in the person of the member of Bamboo Town who wants to be a leader. And we've asked them to fight in their league down there. You see, which of them is going to come out to become eligible to be leader? You got to win first. So I have nothing. Bring it on. I have nothing against Bamboo Town. You know, when I was younger here, I had hard mouth, but I could back it up. And I did back it up. I wasn't just arrogant and bigoty. I was able to back up what I said. I look Pin in the eye. Say, come down. Come on down. I'll sit in the back here.
Hold the line, caller.
I said, take all of you on and beat you. And we did.
Hold the line one sec.
In fact, we did. I am now speaking to the big people. I'm now speaking to the leader of the opposition, my worthy opponents. I am not speaking to this little group.
You were the opponent who deserted you in your hour of need.
Speak my worthy opponents.
Who deserted you in your hour of need.
In fact, quite frankly, Mr. Speaker, I trust that you know that unless something happens that I wouldn't have to mention, Bamboo Town again, other than when I go down to support my man in this fight for oh, there's no question about it. There's no question about it. If the committee came back and said to cut Bamboo Town out, I would not accept that, because I want him in Bamboo Town. I want to meet him in Bamboo Town. He is not going to carry my things anywhere. and if I can't get it, you'll have it.
He said, if I don't have it, you will have it, talking to Perry Christie. If they were enemies, what he said. He said it right in front of all of us and laughed. Both sides laughing. While you keep for the nonsense. When we get in power, we're going to be humane. We're going to do what we have to do. But there will be no shanty towns. There will be no illegal immigration. Those days are going to be over. We will resolve that problem. We understand international law. But just before I take this last caller, I want you to understand a little bit of research, and you can see that there is no obligation for any country to take care of any illegal immigrants. Did a write-up on comparative precedents in other countries. Many countries have faced the question of whether undocumented illegal immigrants are entitled to housing or social assistance. The courts around the world have generally not required governments to provide extensive welfare benefits to those without legal status. Below are several relevant precedents and policies from other jurisdictions, illustrating how this issue has been handled and the legal reasoning involved. In the United States, the U.S. does not guarantee housing or welfare benefits to undocumented immigrants. In fact, federal law expressly bars unauthorized immigrants from most public benefits. The Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996 disqualifies undocumented individuals from federal housing assistance, Medicaid, food stamps, and other need-based aid. This policy has been upheld as constitutional. The Supreme Court has never explicitly ruled that states must provide welfare to illegal immigrants. On the contrary, courts have interpreted Supreme Court precedent, notably they named the precedent, as implying that states may deny public benefits to unlawfully present persons without violating equal protection. And it goes on to a bunch of other stuff. They broke it down. States don't have to pander to illegal immigrants. There's no international law that forces you to do that, despite the lies that they are telling you. In the United Kingdom, it's the same thing. The United Kingdom, likewise, this is where we get our laws from. The United Kingdom, likewise, maintains a strict policy of no recourse to public funds. That's the policy. They call it NRPF. For persons without legal immigration status. By law, migrants in the UK who are undocumented or on temporary visas cannot access welfare benefits or social housing. This policy, embedded in immigration legislation, has been consistently applied and upheld. UK authorities argue that migrants should be self-sufficient and that public funds are for citizens and those with settled status. That's the UK. There's other countries. I could go on and on and on. I've done the research. Even in South Africa, there's laws. Other jurisdictions, Canada, etc., etc. All right? There's different rules. There's no international law, despite the government trying to deceive you with that last press statement, that requires them to pay the rents of immigrants. Again, the trick that they're playing is they find a young person who was there, who was born in the Bahamas, they give them their passport, and then say, okay, we can pay you all the rent now, all right, because that rent going to so-and-so who's a part of us. Luby tell your boys go build some more apartments, go buy some more house. We can push that money to them, that social service money. That $50 million in social service money. Y'all wait yet? Caller, it's the last call I could take. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Bain. Thank you for taking my call. What I've recognized is that I went on AI trying to find out who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked to find that you, Lincoln Bain, from the Bahamas, that after the earthquake in Haiti, that there were no MPs from the PLP nor FNM who fought or tried to find their way to Haiti to help out the Haitian people. But there was a name that came up. The name was Lincoln Bain. He, along with a pilot, joined together and took aid to Haiti. Women, feminine products, and baby food, and men's clothing, and water, and all of that stuff, and went to Haiti as an activist, not even a member of parliament, not fighting for the Bahamian people as such at that time. You went to Haiti as a Bahamian activist to help the Haitian people out. No member of parliament, even when the government of the Bahamas was saying, oh, it will be difficult to get down to Haiti, but you found a way through all the bureaucratic nonsense to get there because the people in Haiti were suffering and hurting. Lincoln Bain, the activists, went to Haiti and helped Haitian people during their time of great need. And I want to say today, because you hear from the PLP and the FNM trolls, oh, Lincoln Bain hate Haitians. Have they ever been down there? Have they ever seen the hurt and the pain and the suffering that those people were going through during that big major earthquake? But you went.
Yeah.
And for that, I applaud you, Mr. Bain.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, they say hate people. You don't spend your own money on people that you hate. And to go that far when you didn't have to and risk your life. I experienced earthquake in Haiti because there were aftershocks, big aftershocks afterwards. I experienced that over there trying to help people, putting my life in risk to do so. But, ladies and gentlemen, I saw Daniel Mitchell trying to call. Daniel, if you could get me before I tune off, it'll be good. You could get in now. I saw you trying to call. You can call back. I was on the line. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to defend this country. This is the only country we got. And I'm so sorry to those people who don't understand what this fight is really about. But you'll respect it later. But we got to fight for this. We got to save this country. It's reached to the point now where they're taking our land. They're trying to push Bahamians off land, like in the well fields. They going after Bahamians. But all these shanty towns still standing. Then they'll come and lie and deceive you and say, oh, they broke down the 7 shanty towns. You didn't break down any shanty towns. You broke down some houses. And then you found housing with our money to give to those people. We can fix this nation. Okay, last call. For true this time. Call you live.
Yes, good day, Mr. Bean. Good day, Bahamas. Yes, Mr. Bean. It's amazing to see that all these apartments that is going around now here in Grand Bahama, as we do our walkabout through the communities, we noticing that all of these apartments are full up with illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
So this now shows us that this is where our taxpayers' monies are going from social service.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to house these people, all right, and taking care of these people when our people cannot get the help and take care from social service. I mean, we have persons all over Grand Bahama need assistance, need help, and they are being turned away. Now we understand why. It's because they are housing and paying rent for these other people. We have a problem with this, and this is why we have to stand up and fight for this country, because we see we are losing this country every single day where it relates to foreigners coming and being taken care of when Bahamians are being disenfranchised.
Yeah.
I hope the Bahamian people are awake and they are ready for change. That's it. That's all. Thank you once again.
Thank you, man. And the last thing I want to address, these people are now fishing in our waters. They're going out craw fishing. They run in the boats. Bahamians hired them because they wanted cheap and loyal labor. And Bahamians took them on the boat, showed them all the spots was, and now they get biggity. And now they take over. Now they going on the boats and they go into the spots. They fishing in. I want all my Bahamian people to know that fishing is reserved for you. We're going to deputize you in our waters and give you the rights. If you see Dominican fishers, you take that boat. Just like the British hired the Buccaneers, we can hire you. Of course, we're going to beef up our defense force to defend our waters. But we're going to justify and legalize you going out there and taking that boat. We're going to deputize you on the waters to arrest any illegal fisherman that you see. And any boat of foreigners that we find fishing in our waters, that is going to be auctioned off to Bahamians. So let them come. We can let them get in good. You can stop them at the border. Oh, you coming to fish? Okay, let's watch them. Let them get close so we don't have to go far with that boat. And then when they get where we need them, come. We taking this boat. Let's go into a Bahamian. We have to take this seriously. This is the one country we have. We're going to empower Bahamians. That's the only mission we have. Someone says the Asians are coming in because Bahamians are lazy. That's not true. Bahamians don't do certain jobs. That's not true. There are lazy people in every country. In Haiti, that's the reputation that they have over there, that, oh, Haitians are lazy. Oh, they can do this, they can do that. They rip you off. They're lazy. They can kill you. Every country has lazy people. If you keep hiring the lazy ones, then that shows your ability to do proper recruiting. America has lazy people. England has lazy people. You have to hire and fire till you find the right ones. There are many Bahamians who want to work right now. And say, yeah, you might have found some lazy ones, but that don't mean all lazy. Bahamians are on the side of the road cleaning up the roads right now in the hot sun. Bahamians are scrubbing toilets in the hotels right now. Right now. Bahamians are on the back of garbage truck. I don't want to drive in the back of the garbage truck. It's not that they're lazy. It's that they're not doing what is their gift to do. Get this in your head. That young man you trying to make mix cement has a different talent in him. He's mixing cement because he don't have no other way to make money. He can't use his gift because they don't put the things in place to empower Bahamians. He's not a cement mixer. He's not a tree cutter. That man is a brilliant attorney who didn't have the money to go to school, to law school. That man has some brilliant ideas and inventions inside of him, but he don't have the capital to get it done. We don't need a society where it's difficult. We need to empower our Bahamians. They put everything in place to stop Bahamians, to block Bahamians in this country. And I'm sick of it. It makes me angry. When I hear what Bahamians have to go through just to get a business license, what Bahamians have to go through to open a bank account in this country, that's going to change. They do everything to block us and then call us lazy. You can't say I'm lazy. That's not what I'm about. That's not what my gift is. If you force a 300-pound bodybuilder to run the 100 meters and then you call him lazy? To run a 100-meter dash? He's not lazy, he's misplaced. That's not where he's supposed to be. That's why I wrote a book called Identity Crisis, which was a bestseller all over the world. We're not lazy. Our opportunities have been stolen from us because y'all only want us to be beggars and servants and slaves. Why do we have to be the workers? Oh, these Bahamians ain't want work? No, they want to do what they were born to do. Give us a chance, man, and watch how great this nation will be if we empower the people to empower the nation. That is the problem. We were not here to be slaves. That's not our nature. We are a peculiar people. We are talented. We are gifted. No, many of us don't want to be in the hot sun. We want to be the boss. And if you know that about your people, then make us what we were born to be. We are talented and gifted. We are royalty. We go in other countries and we thrive. But only in our country we can't make it. And they want to beat us down and call us lazy. Someone say, I have a construction company. I try to get these Bahamians to work. They don't want to work. He is not a construction worker. I did construction when I was young, but that wasn't me. We need our young people to be able to be what they were born to be. Stop making it seem like we need to be slaves. No. We can empower you. And the other people are going to come to work for you. Pintard won't give you that because he is a puppet of the oligarchs who want you to be slaves. Brave won't give you that. He told you he's not going to give you the sovereign wealth fund. I told you what he said. And he did exactly what I said. He took the sovereign wealth fund. My entire mission and my entire goal is to empower our people. Let's see what happens. They say, oh, you can't give $100,000 to every Bahamian. Let's see. Let's see. It's worth a try. Let's see. The United States government gives every citizen adult a tax return. They get money every year. Every year. Hundreds of millions of people get something from their government. Why the 200,000 Bahamian adults can't get something? Why? Ladies and gentlemen, I see the phone ringing. I can't take no more call. I would love to, but I can't. I gotta spend quality time. I done late. Ladies and gentlemen, this mission is about empowering us. Let's give that a try. Just give it one chance. Some people won't believe it, etc., but the fact of the matter is, and you tell them this, you know what's going to happen if you vote PLP or FNM. You vote for Pintard, all this flowery, Kamala Harris type talk and all this nonsense, all the twerking and dancing and all the good videos and exciting stuff and then a month after the election, everybody crying. Brent Simon getting all the contracts. Now he in control because he got a puppet who don't have no personal power of his own. Y'all wake up, man. We just want to empower our people. Our people ain't lazy. They are misguided. Our young men who are doing criminal activity, they doing what they gotta do to survive because you know what, our opportunities out there. It hurts me when I hear our basketball players who make the NBA talk about how they had to play on concrete court and shoot in the milk cart rim and we happy to see that. Oh, that's a nice story. No, a nice story would be, boy, I had a government that was looking out for me. It was looking out for Bahamians, and so we have a whole army of Bahamians who can play in the NBA. And now they can be owners of stations. Those Qatar, Dubai, and them, they trying to buy up football teams, soccer teams, basketball teams. They trying to own. They have a different mindset. I don't just want our people be the basketball players. I want us have ownership in them teams. We coming. The Bahamian people coming. Soccer is the biggest sport in the world, but we could own some of them teams. Our sovereign wealth fund could own that, and all of us could get a piece of the pie. We can empower our nation. We got to think different, man. Think different. Get out the box. Get out that slavery mindset. Stop trying to enslave my Bahamian people. Let my people go and be all that they can be. We can do it. But you got to vote for it. You got to go there and fight for this. Let's fight. Let's make this happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with Clint Watson, who said exactly what I'm saying. Until he was silenced. Now he's going to run for constituency for the PLP. Fawn Miller, silent. Other activists who fought for natural resources, do you hear any of them? You hear them? Listen. Be quiet. What's going on? No one? No one wants to fight? Talking is not fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday, we have a live, and again, we're going to be in studio, so you can come in if you want to and be a part of it. On the 30th, we're going to be cutting hairs of young men, and so be a part of it. We're going to update you some more. God bless you. I love you. See you next time.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, breaking news, you are rich. That's the headline. You, if you are Bahamian, you are rich. And the other headline is you've had someone stealing from you since you've been alive. You've had somebody stealing your wealth, stealing your country's resources, and trying to steal your future. The good news is we are now on to the trick. And so our job is to make sure that we get it back to you. That's what tonight is about, educating you so you are aware of what's been happening. And then you can decide whether you want them to get the child Sanders cane or you want them to go to jail. Because this is nothing short of criminal, that our country has been doing this for years, and our people are still suffering, and we are not doing anything. See, in case you don't understand, here's my issue. Here's my issue. The Bahamas, God placed this here. God placed this archipelago of islands here, strategically, right where it is in the world, because he knew that it would be a literal paradise. He also knew that he would equip in the Commonwealth of Bahamas everything this nation would need, that its people would be wealthy and not have to depend on anybody for anything. That's why he put fish in the ocean, natural resources in the earth, so that we can be able to have access to our own wealth and not depend on people to give us handouts. That's what the good Lord did for you. That's why I always tell people, if you are part of the Bahamas, you are designed by God to be blessed. He blessed you so much to give you a country like this that is so rich. The world knows the riches of the Bahamas. So if you're a Bahamian, your hat's off to you. You are the apple of God's eye. The problem is, we've not been living like that. The problem is we've not operated in our God-given kingdom authority. Why? Because we thought only pirates were stealing from us. We thought only the British were stealing from us, and didn't recognize the people who were stealing from us were right among us. Because they recognized the wealth when they got into powers of governance. They recognized what this country had access to, and they said, shh, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. We can't let this get out. We can't let this get out. We can't let people know about this. We got to keep this. Got to keep this. Got to keep this. Got to protect this. And so foreign interests come in and say, oh yeah, we wear what you have. We want to be able to manufacture what you have, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. And so they've made their companies multi-billion-dollar companies. It's on the stock exchange. You can see it. Made their companies rich off the Bahamas. Do you think they're just making their companies rich off the Bahamas and somebody who's allowing them to do it has not been able to say, okay, we got you, we got you. Now I'm starting to wonder where all of this wealth coming from that you can't trace back to certain people and certain people over the years of power. Now you wonder why you look and you check people's bank accounts. You say, oh, okay, well, you can't see no foreign deal, no fixed deal here. But what's happening? Oh, the money perhaps are in offshore accounts, offshore banks. And they're getting funds, perhaps, to allow a practice that for years have raped the Bahamian people while the people suffer, while people die because they can't afford health care, while people die because they have no food to eat, while people die because their electricity is getting turned off all the time, while people are dying because they cannot afford to live in this Bahamas, when all around us is wealth. Von Miller.
Let me substantiate a lot of what you just said. In 1967, January 10th, historic day, black majority rule. Progressive Liberal Party won the government. Shortly thereafter, I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but if my research serves me correctly, they met Aragonite mining